Oh, what's cracking? Anthony Madison from the south side of the planet, south side of planet Earth. Salute to everybody out there, man.
10, 9, 8, 7. RS-25 engines lit. 4, 3, 2, 1. Booster ignition. And liftoff. The crew of Artemis 2 now bound for the moon. Humanity's next great voyage begins.
Good roll pitch.
Roger, roll pitch.
Houston now controlling the flight of integrity on the Artemis 2 mission around the moon.
Integrity, AMT high.
AMT high.
On time, passing 30 seconds.
Who believes this shit? Like, literally, shout out to my man Anthony Madison, man. Good morning to you. Who believes this shit, man? I ain't buying this shit, man. I ain't buying this shit. What happened in the last couple of years to make it so they can go to the moon? Well, they're not going to the moon. That's right. They just doing a flyby, drive by. They gonna ride. They gonna ride on some alien ops, some moon ops. They just doing a flyby. They're not gonna land on the moon. He said, "White people leaving and going to the moon. Take me with you." Shit. Look at all that fucking fuel they wasted, man. This is just all. You know what, man? This is spectacle. I just figured it out, guys. I just figured it out. They create a big spectacle to divert you from what's really going on. This is how magic works. Sleight of hand. It don't take all this to get out into the fucking orbit. Why they don't just fly a fucking plane up there? It don't take all this. Yeah, sun's on the moon, man. We already, it's low income housing on the moon. It's low income housing on the moon. Yeah, the firmament. What do they call it? It's a scientific name for the firmament. I forgot what they call it. Where you can't go past it. What is that called? The van something. What is that shit called? The firmament. Man, this is bullshit, man. The Van Allen. Is it the Van Allen? Yeah, the Van Allen belt. The Van Allen belt. Yeah, you can't get past the Van Allen belt. This is all horse shit. I think this is all horse shit. They create a big spectacle. It shouldn't take all that to get off the fucking ground. Like, they're doing too much. It's like a magic trick. Yeah, the Van Allen belts. They didn't even know about the Van Allen belts when they faked the first one. When they faked the first moon trips, they didn't know about the Van Allen belts. Now they know about it. You know, white people are amazing. I give white people all their credit. Nobody gives white people more credit than I do. I'm a straight up Uncle Ruckus. But I don't believe this, man. I don't believe this. I don't believe white people did this. I don't believe white people did this, man. Smash that like button. Support today's nice show, man. We getting into it, man. We gonna get into the real crime. We gonna get to the crime happening down here. This is criminal. Faking this shit is criminal. Faking this shit is criminal. Okay? Faking this shit is criminal. I don't know why my camera is all cloudy, but faking this shit is criminal, my nigga. You're lying to us. Bold-faced lying, man. This is a bold-faced lie, man. This is a bold-faced lie, man. Faking this is criminal. Faking this is criminal. It's a crime against humanity. Look at this shit. It shouldn't take all of this to get that little ass rover up into space. Look at this shit. Oh shit. They won't let you pause it? Look at that. Come on, man. Come on, man. Let's be real. Shout out to my man Douglas Chunks, man. Douglas in the building. I want to know, Doug, what do you think about this, man? Let me tell me what you think about this, Doug. Because you up there in Alaska, man. You closer to the moon than us, right? Ain't Alaska closer to the moon? It don't take all that, man. It doesn't take all that because think about it. A plane just takes off. What's up, JJ? A plane just takes off. Why all of this consternation, all this fucking smoke? Why? Because it's a sleight of hand. It's a magic trick. It's a magic trick. They got you focused on all this smoke. And it makes it seem real too. Like, damn, all that, they must be really going to space. Look at how much they fucking, look at how much gas is in that motherfucker. Look at how much propulsion is involved. They must be going to space. This is all a fucking sleight of hand. You do know the space grift is based on some Talmudic Jewish being. Listen, I'm not blaming the Jews for this shit. If the Jews, listen, them little Jews ain't going into space. This is white people, man. This is white people faking this shit. The Russians versus the U.S., man. This is all about the Russians versus the U.S. This ain't got shit to do with Jews, man. The space race in the 60s, man. We wanted to win, so we lied. And then Russia was like, hey, y'all lied. You better let us, y'all better let us pretend we went to space too with the cosmonauts and shit, right? Actually, they went first, right? They didn't go to the moon, but they went to space first. So Russia get to say they went to space first. We get to say we went to the moon first. Russia and the United States, you know, they beef hard, and they don't like each other, but they both get something out of it. Out of this fake space grift. This is bullshit. Why all this? Why does it take all? Because the rover's just going into orbit, and then it's gonna float then it's gonna they're gonna propel it to space to the moon. It's gonna it's not gonna be flying like this all the way up. It's not gonna be flying they make it seem like it's gonna be all this all the way to the moon. This is just to get it out in the orbit. You could use a fucking plane, a 787, a 797, or some shit to get that little thing into space and then in the orbit. This is all fucking pomp and circumstance, pageantry. Boy Kachina, man. Shout out to Boy Kachina, man. Boy Kachina says, get in a ball, have a giant throw it at you, float until curving back to Earth, throw it harder, and it keeps missing the Earth like a satellite. Harder throw, you float off towards the moon, man. Yeah, they go around the Earth like their whole bullshit about how they go around the Earth and use the Earth's pull to. This is horse shit. And everybody at NASA seems so fake. Every person talking at NASA seems so fake. It doesn't seem real. Nobody at NASA that I hear talk, none of the astronauts, none of the executives, they all seem fake. There's no authenticity to them. And this has nothing to do with my thoughts on this spaceship. It just all seems like they know they're hiding a lie. Why does it look at all this shit? What other thing do we fly that does this? What other thing do we've done air travel for decades? What other thing do we fly that takes all of this? And look, you got enough gas to get to the moon and back. And how come the rocket never accidentally falls somewhere it ain't supposed to fall? How come the rocket always fall in the Gulf of Mexico? It never falls somewhere where it's not supposed to fall. Because the rocket allegedly falls off and shit, right?
Integrity 49 miles in altitude, 78 miles downrange, now passing 5,000 miles per hour.
And then they got all the talking, Houston and shit. And all that's bullshit too to distract you from what's really going on. 77 miles per hour. Shut the fuck up. This is all bullshit. I wanna know how many of y'all really believe this horse shit. I want to know how many of y'all really believe this horse shit. We gotta do a poll, man. If you want to come up, link is in the description box, man. We gotta do a poll. I want to know how many of y'all really believe this horse shit. This cockamamie horse shit. I want to know how many of y'all believe this cockamamie bullshit. Let me let me do a poll right quick, man. I want to know, man. I want to know, man. I just can't believe this shit. Something's just telling me. Shout out to Douglas Chunks, man. He says, my sister went to Cal Tech, JPL. Space is real. However, I am personally highly skeptical about the original moon landing claims. I'd wager half my business that this trip is real. Okay. Listen, nobody's saying that there's not, that up is space. Basically, space is if you keep going up, right? Yeah, I believe that. I'm not saying that you can't keep going up and up and up. But there is goddamn a firmament, man. As is above, as is below. As is below, above, as is below. There's a firmament. There's something that protects the earth, right? Right? You can't go too far. There's something that keeps other shit from, colliding with the earth, and it keeps. The earth has a shell. As is above, as is below. Okay? Just like we have the oceans below, we have clouds above. Clouds are nothing but water in another form. Press 1. Clouds are nothing but water in another form, gaseous form. The sea is water in liquid forms. Clouds are water in gaseous forms. As is below, above, as is below. Okay? The firmament is real. And I'm not even talking about no religious shit. It just there's a firmament. Am I still a flat earther? Yeah, I still have questions, about all this shit, man. But I haven't been fervent flat earth lately, you know what I mean? I did, I do admit that there are some things that lend itself to make me believe that we could be living on something other than a flat plane. But I don't understand it. I'm not trying to sit here and act like I understand it. But I'm just talking about this trip. Are they going there or not? Are these motherfuckers going to outer space or not? Look at this shit. Does that look real?
Standing by for launch abort system jettison.
And why would
Houston
anybody?
integrity, good last jettison, great.
Why would anybody? Do you know why would anybody get in that fucking thing? And anybody, a crazy person wouldn't get in that fucking thing filled with all that damn fuel.
Copy, jettison. Team Eco 8+02.
Look at all that. All that to distract from the real deal that there's nobody in there. There's nobody in that fucking rocket. Nobody would get into this fucking thing. Are you kidding me? Who would get into this fucking thing? Who would get into that? Who in their right mind? Let me Who in their right fucking mind would get inside of that? Boy Kachina says, air travel, 60% Chinese rockets fall on villages. 60% of Chinese rockets fall on villages. Okay. That shows you this shit is not reliable, man. This is horse shit. Do you understand how fucking crazy you would have to be to get inside of this thing? And how much terror? The human body can't. One thing about humans, fear is an evolutionary.
The crew of Artemis 2 now bound for the moon.
Fear is an evolutionary aid. It helps you. We now with societies, we have a different relationship with fear. But when we were evolving in the savannah, in the jungle, in the cliff, in the tundra, fear was essential, man. Fear helped you survive, man. You were in tune with fear. When you felt fear, you knew it was danger. You know that your body's telling you, don't trust this person, don't trust this animal, don't trust this situation, don't trust this or encounter, don't trust this this mission you about to partake of. And I get it. Men defy fear, like getting in boats. The first people that got in sea travel, they did sea travel. The first people that, you know, did all types of things. They overrode their fear. But who's getting in the fucking tube with a gazillion gallons of fucking rocket fuel? Who's doing that?
Humanity's next great voyage begins.
Let's go back and see some other Jesus Christ. Damn. This is NASA's official shit.
An indication of where we are.
All about a 10-day mission.
Exactly. Yeah, these are really great questions, guys. We know that, again, we are sharing a lot of information today.
Look how calm they are. Look how calm they are, man. Look at how calm they are. What the fuck are they doing right here, man? Let's be real, man. Like, come on, let's cut the bullshit. What the fuck are they doing here but being on camera? That black dude ain't getting in no big ass tube with a gazillion gallons of rocket fuel, and you gonna set it on fire and blast him into orbit. That black dude ain't doing that shit. I don't believe this shit. This is horse shit. No, I told you that getting in boats is, yes, the ocean, uncharted ocean was a great thing. I got you. Many men died. Many ships were lost. Many ships were lost while they were perfecting it. I got you. Those men were extremely brave, and they, you know, overrode their fears, their natural fears. They overrode it. I got you, man. I know, because once you get out on that boat and you get out in the ocean, man, you know, you can't swim back to shore if something happened to the boat, man. Something happened to the boat, you can't swim back to shore. We all know that, right? So we're not gonna sit here and try to act like those men who the first seafaring boatmen weren't fucking amaze balls, right? They were amaze balls, right? He said it's a bunch of niggas at NASA. Right. The grift could have been better when it was just white men. When it was just white men, the grift worked better. Like, you know what I'm saying? People are like, all right, these white dudes probably would do some stupid shit like this. You know, these white dudes probably would do some crazy shit like this. Once you start adding women and niggas, man, these niggas ain't doing women. You think women going to do this shit? A woman ain't getting in no tube full of rocket fuel. Big ass tube full of rocket fuel. You crazy.
Yeah, what an amazing way to share the Artemis story, right? By inviting these social media experts out to share the story as they drive by.
All right, again, let's take a look at the clock. 4 hours, 58 minutes.
This sounds like this is like the Masters, man. This television production, it's like a golf tournament and shit. They act like this got the same feel as a golf tournament.
Counting from the opening of today's 2-hour launch window. So why don't we check back in with Daryl with the launch team.
Megan and Nicole, and inside Fire Room 1, I'm listening to launch.
Look out, who is this guy? Who the fuck is this guy? Who is this guy? He knows this is bullshit. What is it called? Artemis 2? Okay, I'm missing. I gotta redo my damn title. Artemis 2, motherfucker. God damn, it's called Artemis 2. All right. Damn. Yeah, man. This shit is stupid, man. Are you kidding me, man? Are we really to believe this shit? I can't believe I'm the only one that doesn't believe this shit, man. Oh, okay. 44% say no. Okay. This is horse shit. Big Pete says it's easier to fool people than to convince them they've been fooled. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, that's true. Especially when they've been believing it their whole life. It's not like I didn't believe this shit was happening at one time. I never thought about it. I just like, all right, they're going to space. I believed this shit for decades. So I got grace for people, you know what I'm saying? But who the fuck is this guy?
Director Charlie Blackwell Thompson greet the Ascent crew who just came on console over there at Johnson Space Center. So good to have the mission control team jumping on with us. So far, the launch team here in the firing room has had a really good morning. Really smooth tanking that kicked off at 7:30 a.m. this morning. They got to all stages.
Could you imagine if this was real? The morning you're about to go get into that shit. Could you imagine the morning you're going to get into that thing?
NASA's Artemis 2 test flight.
The night before.
Plus the surprise of a lifetime as kids marveled at the rocket and spacecraft rolling.
None of this shit looks real. And I'm not saying these people are not really here, but it just looks fake. It's like it's infected with fakeness. They've been faking for so long, and they know this is bullshit that it's infected everything they do, and they can't appear real.
Bad. Look at those cute faces there. Oh, I love that. Love those suits. And we'll show you how the astronauts will eat, sleep, and go to the bathroom while in space. Keep in mind, the Orion spacecraft is about the size of a 6-person tent.
Yeah.
A 6-person tent.
Not super big, but you know, it's 10 days with your 3 best friends. So I think it's manageable for sure. But you know, every ounce counts when you're trying to get to the moon.
And as we continue to look into the suit up room here, a fist pump for some of the folks in the crowd there by Victor. Why don't we take a look around the center here? We know that there are some folks who are already getting ready to check out the team here as they drive across KSC to their launch pad. Look at that. Oh, that's so awesome.
That's a great crowd.
They're waiting there in front of the vehicle assembly building. So actually, they're just down the road from us. This is a good crowd, as Nicole said. Oh, there they are. They just got their cue. Oh, now? Let me wave now.
Oh, yeah, they are excited.
That's amazing. So all of these folks, content creators that are getting behind the scenes access as part of NASA's NASA social experience here. So
salute the boy Chin. He said, "Did you watch Capricorn 1? Too young." I don't know. I know it was fraudulent bullshit.
To share the Artemis story,
CGI.
right?
I gotta look it up. We'll look it up.
Social
man.
media experts out to share the story as they drive by.
all right, again, let's take a look at the clock. 4 hours, 58 minutes and counting from the opening of today's 2-hour launch window. So why don't we check back in with Daryl with the launch team.
And Nicole, and inside Fire Room 1, I'm listening to Launch Director Charlie Blackwell Thompson greet the Ascent crew who just came on console over there at Johnson Space Center. So good to have the mission control team jumping on with us. So far, the launch team here in the firing room has had a really good morning. Really smooth tanking that kicked off at 7:30 a.m. this morning. They got to all stages replenish just before 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern time, and it was an incredibly smooth tanking.
As they lift off from Kennedy Space Center.
Right, and you know, each suit is slightly different, each person is slightly different, and so these suit techs know each individual super well. They know exactly how they like to get into the suit, exactly where things might get caught, or you know, small adjustments that might need to be made. So they know their suit techs well, and their suit techs know them very well.
And so as we take a couple of pictures here, we really hope that you are learning a lot about the suits and the process of checking them out for a mission. But imagine the opportunity to get a hands-on demonstration from people who helped design these suits. Take a look.
Why they not going over their notes and shit? Why they not going over their notes last minute, man? This is the you got to get it. Yo, you about to fly in the fucking moon. You know how far the moon is? And then you got to come back. And you got to land safely. Why they not going over their notes?
I love showing the kids the suit. I love how excited they get about space. Oh.
So that would be...
It just goes in there? We got to bring some stuff for them to actually put their hands in. And some of them were...
So everybody who designed this is a woman. Everybody who designed this is a woman. Look at all the women. Women design spacesuits. So when you go to space, the suit that's going to protect you from whatever the fuck is out there. The woman. So these
very
bitches
excited because they want to be astronauts when they grow up.
I would love to be an astronaut. That would be incredible.
I'd like to be like an engineer that like maybe designs the suits.
Whether it's the calm, the orange color, every aspect has an important function for our astronauts in space.
It's going to be amazing seeing astronauts up close to the moon again.
And that was a special event at Johnson Space Center. What we just saw there, obviously a big part of why this mission is so important to NASA, really just an opportunity to inspire everyone, especially kids, right, Nicole, to dream.
It's coming into the combustion chamber and then it comes out as really, really hot gas.
Powerhead section of the engine. Powerhead section of the engine.
Have one right behind us here, used during the shuttle program, and I got to get a closer look at it with Space Launch Systems Engines Deputy Manager Philip Benefield.
Okay, so Philip, in terms of size, shape, and function, what we see here behind us, exactly what we see on the pad.
Absolutely, Megan. Absolutely. So this is the RS-25 engine.
Impressive.
We have 4 of these on the bottom of the SLS rocket to propel the SLS rocket in Orion into low Earth orbit.
And we've been seeing views of the pad throughout this broadcast, but you mostly only see the bell here. What's happening over here?
Right. So this is generally what we call the power head section of the engine. So the purpose here is that it takes in the propellants from the vehicle tanks, the liquid oxygen in minus 297 degrees, super cold stuff. The liquid hydrogen even colder, minus 423 Fahrenheit. There's 4 turbo pumps on the engine that pressurize that propellant up to 9,000 PSI in areas. It is all directed into the main combustion chamber where it is burned into hot gas that then is accelerated out the nozzle to produce thrust.
When you say hot gas, what are we talking about?
We're talking 6,000 degrees Fahrenheit gas.
Wow, so we're talking really cold as liquids coming into the combustion chamber, and then it comes out as really, really hot gas. How do you design, how do you engineer something to control both extremes?
Absolutely, it's a very technically challenging. One of the main things here with the nozzle is that since you have the 6,000 degree Fahrenheit gas coming out, you have to cool that nozzle so it doesn't melt. And so the way the nozzle is constructed with these 1,080 coolant tubes. And so each of these coolant tubes flows a small amount of hydrogen. It keeps it cold. And so it doesn't melt during operation.
Wow. I mean, all of the science that you're talking about, it is truly amazing that you guys designed this for shuttle, and yet you've reconfigured it, retooled it to be able to now support Artemis. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that's really amazing, the fact that we were able to use the heritage hardware on the Space Launch System. The engine itself, developed through the Space Shuttle program, many upgrades to make it more reliable and improve the thrust as well.
Perfect. Philip, thank you so much. I can't wait to see all 4 function.
Same here. Thanks, Megan. Enjoy.
Who believes this shit? Who believes this? Do you believe this? Who believes this? He said all of that to hit an invisible dome. They're not going to hit the invisible dome. They know that invisible dome is there. So they just going to send it. They sending this rocket out into space past where people can't see it. And then the rocket going to fucking turn around and fall. The rocket going to turn around and land somewhere and they ain't going to tell us about it. That rocket going to fall into the middle of the ocean and they ain't going to tell us about it.
And again, another idea and way that we are learning from what we've built upon and figured out all into this moment.
Look at him just turning something. They got to pretend like they doing something. Isn't this environment supposed to be saline and sanitized? Like, you shouldn't even have people walking in here without like hazmat suits on. These people got to be in here for 10 days. They're going to be in the fucking orbit. You can't have people walking around with their colds and their germs. All these people should be in hazmat suits. Press 1. If you're sending these 4 people to space for 10 days and they can't leave, it ain't like you go out. It ain't like you can leave. You stuck in this place. This is supposed to be a what do they call it? A sanitized environment. I don't know what they call it, but this is supposed to be a completely 100% sanitized environment. What if they catch a cold or pneumonia or COVID while they up there? It ain't no doctors up there with them. Ain't no nurse. It's just them. He said, "Why isn't a black woman the captain?" Yeah, that's coming though. That's coming.
Yes, with so much more thrust and capability, like we said, we learn all those lessons from previous missions, and we get to involve them here today.
And here we are, the closeout crew in the White Room, getting ready for the astronauts who have just left crew suit up and are now walking down a hallway to first people closest to them, of course, their family members who got to quarantine with them, correct?
Yes. Yeah, so the ones that are close in.
Their family members got to quarantine with them. Yeah, okay, so why are they out here? Why they out interacting with the public if they quarantined? If they just been quarantined, why the fuck are they interacting with the public?
And here they are, NASA's Artemis 2 crew. Commander Reed Weissman, pilot Victor Glover, and mission specialist Christina Cook and Jeremy Hansen taking their first steps outside for their historic test flight. To a wonderful applause.
Listen, just walking on this ground, man, is not safe to bring any germs or molecules into that. What is that called? A static environment? What is it called? Like a lab? What is a lab supposed to be or something? It's some word, some term. I can't fucking put my finger on it.
From the crowd, they're looking really excited.
Some
and
big
really
smiles.
Ready.
I love that.
It's a great day for us. Great day for this team.
A few words from Reed.
Sterile.
Great day for us.
Damn, I can't believe I couldn't think of that word. Sterile. It's supposed to be that ship that they're in, whatever the fucking little pod they're going to be in, because they're not in the rocket. The rocket is to push the pod into orbit, right? That little pod they're going to be in, while they're hurtling through space at a gazillion miles per hour, that little pod needs to be sterile. These shoes they walking on the same ground everybody else walking on, because that enclosed pod is going to be a petri dish. Because there's no airflow, there's no fresh air coming in there. There's no, you know what I mean? It's just going to be a cauldron for germs and shit.
The team, he said. Thumbs up, more thumbs up. Of course, a lot of pictures. We hear some camera shutter clicks back there. I love the energy of this crowd. Let's go. And so now the crew walking over to each of their pens. The first people closest to them, of course, their family members who got to quarantine with them, correct?
Yes. Yeah. So the ones that are close and waving, those are the immediate family. So spouses, partners, kids.
So nobody's family's worried. If my wife was about to get into this motherfucking thing, I'd be like, baby, you sure you want to do that shit? You could tell these motherfuckers, fuck that shit. You ain't gotta go. You know you ain't gotta go. You can tell them, fuck that shit. Because if you think about the gravity of what these people are allegedly about to do.
And we're trying to give them some privacy so that they can have their conversations with their family members. Christina there, she has her husband.
You know he's married to a white woman. Ain't no way a black astronaut married to no black woman. I gotta see this shit. If this nigga married to a black woman, this shit completely fake. This gonna be the clincher for me, man. Ain't no way this nigga married to no black. Ain't no way no black astronaut married to no black woman. God, it's bullshit. This is fake. This shit is fake. This shit is fake. Is that his daughter? Hold on, I want to see. Is his wife? Where's his wife? Where's this nigga's wife? This nigga Glover wife Deanna Odom. Man, ain't no motherfucking way no nigga that's an astronaut married to no black woman. That's a nigga in the NBA ain't even gonna marry no black woman. It's horse shit. Black woman will be like, you doing what? The fuck is you doing? You going into space, dude? The fuck? Ain't that shit dangerous, nigga? This nigga married to a black woman. That shit just, and I'm not, this ain't nothing against black women. It's just, Ain't no nigga that's no astronaut gonna be married to no black woman. It don't even. You got how smart you gotta be and how like nerdy, like you gotta be a fucking genius and shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like you not even gonna be. This shit bullshit, man. This shit fake as a motherfucker, man.
Victor has 4 daughters and his wife, they're there. Reed, his 2 daughters are there. And then Jeremy, his wife, 2 daughters and a son.
And nobody nervous. Everybody just like, great. Can't wait for you to get blasted off. It's the greatest thing in the world. Shout out to boy Kachina, man. He says, Artemis 1 did this in November of 2022, but without people. Also, it was 5 years late. Also, a few billies over budget. SpaceX may land first, spending 1/4 of the money. SpaceX is fake too. SpaceX is bullshit too. Can they get through the Van Allen belt? Is SpaceX got some shit to get through the Van Allen belt?
You know, when you were standing in their shoes, Nicole, when you flew for Crew 10, what were you kind of talking about? Like, did you really think about this moment and what you might want to say?
You know, they've all already done their real goodbyes, you know, in person. And so this is more just kind of, again, that last chance to wave.
This is the way to spread germs. This is just the way to spread germs, right? To bring it to this supposedly sterile environment. This is just the way for the viewer at home to make it seem real. Like, look, this is really, really happening. They're reinforcing. They're doing too much to try to make us think this is really happening. The revolution will not be televised. Like right now, it's SEAL teams and Army Rangers and fucking Green Berets kicking ass over in Iran. We not seeing none of that shit. Press 1. We not seeing none of that shit. You don't have to, they're doing too much to make it seem like they really going.
To get one smile, you know, you see Christina there smiling. So this felt much less heavy and just, you know, waving and maybe cracking a joke or something, saying hi. So this was a really, really great moment for our crew.
Reed's 2 daughters there. Reed spoke about when he told them that he was selected to be the Artemis 2 commander. And he said he was worried. He's a single dad, didn't know how they would react. And actually, he said he was overwhelmed by their support. He woke up the next morning with cupcakes baked by one of the daughters, moon cupcakes.
Yes, I love this story. Moon cupcakes the next morning. Like, how awesome.
Come on, man. Even these stories are just ridiculous, man. This shit is ridiculous, man. Are you listening to this shit?
Is that right? Everybody needs their support system, and clearly he has that in his daughters.
Christina said she took a bike ride with her husband and wanted to tell him when the moon rose, but that it was too foggy. But she said he was still very excited and happy for her.
Yeah, the moon's still out there.
A close-up now of, again, Commander Reed Wiseman and Mission Specialist Christina Cook. To the right of your screen, as we pan left, we have pilot Victor Glover. Victor told his wife, and they told their 4 kids together, and he said that one of them just started yelling, "Let's go!"
Yes, I love that. Again,
so
the support
everybody,
from the family is awesome.
Come on, man. Yeah, I'm about to get into a tube full of jet fuel. Great, yay! Get the fuck out of here. I mean, not jet fuel, rocket fuel. It's more rocket fuel in that fucking rocket than the fucking million planes. It's more rocket fuel in that rocket than it is in the whole fucking Beverly Hills hillbillies and shit. That shit is fucking... Yo, listen. We talking about gas shortage. Look at how much fucking fuel is in that fucking rocket. It's like a million cars worth of fuel in that rocket. and then they're gonna set it on fire, and you gonna be in it. Get the fuck out of here! Ain't nobody happy about that shit. This shit is fake. Press 1.
And Jeremy said his wife and 3 children, super excited. He felt very supported. You know, he did have that tough conversation, obviously, of talking about the realities of this being a test flight, but he said they were super supportive. And now as he walks away, some kisses from Victor Glover to his family, hearts to Christina. Jeremy being a gentleman, pausing so that Christina can take a nice photo.
I want somebody who believes this shit to come
hearts
up.
Too from
No, link is in the description box, man. If you believe this shit, please come up here, man. I want people who believe this shit to come up, man, because I wanna understand you, man. I wanna know what makes you tick, man. I need to meet somebody who believes this shit is real in their heart and soul and their gut. I want one of you motherfuckers that believe this shit is real in your gut. Like you willing to like go toe to toe with me. Like you ain't gonna back down. You like staunch about your shit. You like. I want somebody that's like Candace Owens is about Charlie Kirk. I want somebody like that to come up, man. Where you at, man?
From Reed there. Hearing Victor saying, "Love you guys," saying that to some of his crew members there. Woody. Some more applause from the group.
Quick wave to some of the NASA program managers and I think Norm Knight's out there, the FOD Flight Operations Director.
You heard Reed there saying, "Thank you guys," as the crowd picks up again with their applause, and the 4 of them step into their Astrovan. Looking at the clock, very on schedule right now. Again, according to the very detailed timeline of launch today, they're expected to drive off in about 20 seconds.
Got one? The link is, what do you mean? The link is in the description box. I'll drop it right now, man. Let me drop the link right now, man. There you go.
So far, we're marching toward the launch smoothly.
Bring your ass up here, man. Bring your motherfucking ass up. Bring your monkey ass up here now, man. Right now.
Do you think they're queuing up the video?
Definitely.
And that's why they haven't left yet?
Bring your monkey ass
feel like
up
we
here
can't
right
go
now.
without
Gotta get
our
your
point
snacks and movie
break.
ready.
Yeah. Where's the popcorn? Again, good on the timeline. Of course, they do have these very specific milestones, but this is not one that has to be completely stuck to the second and the minute.
Yeah, we will make up that time easily.
They will get
a
full security escorted ride.
So we supposed to believe that they going. So we supposed to believe that they going from here and they going on the ship, man. They going in the rocket. They ain't going in that motherfucking rocket.
Pad. It's a quick trip, 15,
They
20
going
minutes.
to a secure location. They're gonna be in a bunker somewhere. You might see one of these motherfuckers at the grocery store and shit. Hey man, ain't you supposed to be in space? You gonna be at the grocery store with some shades on. Some shades. In the grocery store with some shades and a fucking, hat. What's that little, remember that little disguise? Remember that? It was in the 80s, man. Who remember in the 80s, man? Where my 80s babies at, man? Where my 80s babies at, man? Stop Resisting is in the building. Hey, you remember these Stop Resisting? Y'all don't know how old you are, man, but remember these? They gonna give all the astronauts these so they can go around and live their life without, while they supposed to be in space, while you know what I'm saying, while Houston and shit, NASA's faking all this bullshit. They can go live their lives and shit. All of them will be walking around with these on, man. All the astronauts just gonna be living their regular life, man. What's up, Stop Resisting? What's your thoughts, man?
What's up, Ak? What's up, Ak? Yeah, man, one of the greatest accomplishments in recent history. That's a wonderful, wonderful opportunity to witness one of the greatest accomplishments in human history. Once again, NASA comes through.
Would you get into a tube full of
No. I won't even let you finish it. No, I will not. but it doesn't mean others won't. It doesn't mean I also wouldn't go into a submarine either.
No, I got you. I met a guy who went into a sub. He was a real man's man. I got you. But he was a regular white dude though. He was on a submarine for a long time with a bunch of dudes, and he was telling me about how it was, and I was like, wow. It's not pretty, it's not fun. But do you think that this environment should be more sterile?
Yeah, while you were saying that, I looked it up, and although it is super, super, super clean, it does not particularly have to be sterile. Because number one, they're going to bring their own germs regardless of it being sterile or not. Like if you go into a sterile
they've been tested for a lot of stuff. They've been tested,
right? But you can't.
They've been inoculated too, because you can't catch pneumonia because you can't turn around, right? Once you out there, let's say one of them catch pneumonia or COVID or anything, right? That acts fast, anything that takes you down fast. I had a stomach virus a couple of months ago. When I was in DC. I caught a stomach virus. And I was shitting goddamn liquid like all night, right? I mean, I was shitting liquid. And then the liquid turned from dark brown to brown to clear. And I mean, I'm not talking about like pooping, like when you poop, when you strain out of poop. I'm talking about floodgates, right? Floodgates. And I wasn't eating anything, right? It got to the point where I was like, yo, what the fuck is this? I haven't eaten anything in a day. What is this stuff coming out of me? And I couldn't. I'm talking about if I had to be near the bathroom, right? I had to be near the bathroom. I couldn't be like, oh, down the hall. I had to like set my little shit up, my laptop and shit up like next to the bathroom. So like when I felt that shit, I had to go, and it had to I had some accidents too, not like bad accidents, but like just barely getting to the shit, to the toilet, and then a splush, like almost like turning off a hose. My ass was like fucking goddamn fucking a geyser and shit. You can't do that. You can't have germs, and I don't know where I caught that from, right? Like I don't know where I caught it from. You can't have those type any germs. This is a serious mission. These people are going to the moon, right?
Right.
A level of professionalism from, you know what I mean?
Well, here's a couple of things, okay?
Good.
Number one is when they talk about a sterile room, they're not talking about not having any type of viruses or like germs that are like bad for you. They're talking about a sterile room where there's like 1% or less than 1% that there's like not even any like living microorganisms in that environment, right? So nothing that not just only that gets you sick or not, like COVID or the common cold virus, but just anything trying to reduce as much as possible. So in this situation, like, by the way, the ISS is not sterile. It's not at all, right? These pods are not going to be sterile just for the fact that these guys are going to be going to the bathroom, and within these 10 days, they're going to be taking a shit somehow. So just by that fact alone, it cannot be completely 100% sterile. It's thoroughly cleaned as much as possible.
No, but I'm not
Can't
saying. What I'm saying is that you have to do your best. You know what I mean? Like you're saying that it's not going to be sterile because people have bodily fluids. I'm saying it needs to leave Earth sterile.
It doesn't
needs
though.
to leave Earth sterile. And
right,
then,
but it doesn't.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Whatever happens in space is not, you can't control it.
Right. And one other thing is, have you ever had a colonoscopy? You're probably around that age where you probably.
No, I haven't. I need to get one, man.
Okay. Yeah. So before you get a colonoscopy, you're on this strict regimen for at least, I think, 24 to 48 hours before to make sure you have nothing in there left. Right. So with these guys, now I'm not for sure, but I know the food that they are taking with them is also nuked to be like the least amount of microorganisms in their food also before it gets taken up there. But I'm sure that these guys are on a very, very, very strict diet to make sure by this time, this date, that they're at their most peak healthy. It's kind of like how a boxer is going to be at his peak time when he gets ready to fight.
Right.
So I know for a fact that they thought of all this stuff. And if one of them had any sort of something even a little bit wrong with them.
So you telling me if the black dude got sick, they would go he's really like the star of this shit, right? So if the black dude caught a cold, right? And he's wheezing and shit and his nose is running and he's
No, he's not going. He's definitely not going.
Shit, they not going to shit.
No, but I think they have backup.
First of all,
no,
I don't believe
I think they have a backup.
Anywhere. I don't believe they're going anywhere. But what I'm saying is they're not going to replace the black dude. Now, the white dude gets sick, yeah, you can replace him, but the black dude, man, you can't replace the black dude.
No, look, I think each astronaut has a standby astronaut, like a kind of like a
Is the standby black? Is he a standby astronaut black?
Maybe not. Maybe there's a Shaniqua back there waiting for him to get sick. I'm not sure, but respectfully, can I say something real quick? Give me 1 minute without interruption, respectfully, because I thought of saying this before, and I just never got around to it. But this is a perfect opportunity because you're talking about this. So when it comes to like what you do, right? What you do is, black crime statistics, crime, whites versus blacks, all this kind of stuff, right? You have so much stuff to back up your claims. You have like Negroes in Negro land. Every day you look at the news to show the evidence of what the mainstream media is completely lying about. Then you have Hezekiah News to show like the stuff that really was going down in the 1960s, 1920s. You have so much at your disposal that you have to negate what the mainstream media is, right? But when it comes to this, when it comes to this subject, you have nothing but mockery and disbelief. You don't have anything else. Anything else.
Well, yeah, they run a tight ship. I mean, it's space. Like, it's not like, see, with the crime shit, I grew up with guys like that. I went to school with guys like that. Everywhere, every place I've ever moved, it's been the same thing there. Space, I've never been to space. I've never, you know what I mean? Like, it's not apples to apples.
But you've never been in the 1920s either.
Well, yeah, I have. I read stories about the 1920s. I've seen footage from the 1920s.
Right, but that's evidence, correct? That's evidence.
Yeah, but this is but it's also people living and breathing and walking and talking and feuding and laughing, and it's all things that I've seen before. Space is something that's foreign. Space is not an everyday thing. The things that people did in the 1920s, I can relate to. I have, it's just a human experience. This is. All right, let me just listen to this bit. Let's just see what.
Apollo missions when he was just a very little boy. He was looking up at the moon with his mom, and his mom said to him, "Don't worry, Ronnie, we'll never get there." Fast forward maybe 70 years later, it's his daughter that's actually going there. And I think that long arc is something that we can all learn from. The idea that the seemingly impossible becomes possible if you just believe in it and are willing to work hard and come together to achieve it. My name is Christina Cook, and I'm a mission specialist for NASA's Artemis II mission around the moon. When I look back at my dreams as a kid, I definitely never thought I would actually get here. I was very pragmatic. Even though I'm a dreamer, I knew that the odds were way against me again, so I might as well do something I'm loving in the meantime. I definitely loved science and math in school and, did pretty well in those things, but I also loved being active. I was always outside. I loved things that made me feel small. I loved looking.
Does that look like a real picture? But I don't. Everything just looks fake. Wicked, man. You and Ombrito, man. What do Ombritos think about space, man?
Shalom, shalom. Happy Passover. What do we think about it? I mean, nothing really. I mean, it's not really. It's whatever, I guess. Maybe, maybe not.
I mean, Ombritos build stuff. So like y'all understand building stuff. Y'all naturally just do that shit, right?
Yeah.
So y'all would have a concept. Blacks ain't building shit, right? Mud hut and shit, right?
Right.
Y'all don't look at that space. Y'all look at that spaceship. What do y'all see when y'all see? Y'all say, "Oh, that shit can go to the moon."
Yeah. I mean, at least me, I could see the gliders creating a colony, right? But what I also see is from this video, for example, we already know what's gonna happen with the universe with them taking the brothers out there. There goes the galaxy.
Oh man!
Night sky.
I will say one thing.
Pine tree
one thing
branches.
about the fakeness of NASA is that they are going they are going hard and over-representing women here. Like, they're going overboard with the women. Like, I was watching it, and it was just like women everywhere.
Right. So that shows you this is such a serious, serious mission. Like, yo, you get in the plane, that shit's serious, man. You get in a plane, it's serious, man. That's a serious thing when you get into a plane, even though thousands of planes fly and land every day. And commercial planes, I mean, they have a great, like, it's negligible the commercial planes that don't complete their mission, right? But this is, they take that very seriously, even though it's routine. As routine as air travel is, when last time you been on a plane, stop resisting?
Last November.
Okay. You see how, and this is a routine thing. That plane gonna land somewhere, and then it's gonna pick up some more people and go somewhere else. But each step is taken seriously, from the TSA to when you get on the plane, to when they're taking off, to when they get to 30,000 feet, to when they start descending. Everything's protocol. And then the pilots, they take training all over. You know what I mean? It's like, think about if these people are going to be in a pod for 10 days, hurtling through the space, not 500 miles per hour, 600 miles per hour, gazillion miles per hour, hurling through space.
Yeah, I could see. I could see back in the day, someone like you saying there ain't no way they got on a piece of wood and went across the sea. Ain't no way.
Yeah, and there were probably people like that, but you know what? I gave those people credit. The ocean is intimidating, man. Have you ever seen the real ocean? Not like the
Oh
ocean
yeah,
in the movie.
100%. Yeah,
I'm talking about in
when
the
I
middle of the ocean. It's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
intimidating.
Yeah, when I got to the on vacation, I've had like oceanside, beds or whatever. And yeah, man, at night, the ocean, whew, it looks terrifying. But my point being that, look, I hope that one day they could put your doubts to rest, you know?
Let me just show you. I respect it because this is a great analogy. I respect those wooden boats that went
Yeah,
out into the like.
right.
I
The
respect.
Spaniards,
Yeah, the Armada. I expect those. They were in wood. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And they
right,
were
right.
smaller than this shit. You know what I mean?
And they use sails. Yeah, no
Yeah,
doubt.
they use sails. Like, I respect the hell out of those people, and I definitely understand the analogy because given the time they were in, the technology
They
available,
must have been like impossible.
yeah, it seemed impossible. Yes, the technology, given the technology they had available at hand, I got you. But this is still on Earth.
Yeah, no, but whether it's on Earth or not, at the time of, it must have been unbelievable for them, right?
Yeah,
Like one day, it could be that space travel is so common that it'll kind of be like this video.
it
You
was
know what I
supposed to.
mean?
Remember, they went in '69. They went
Yeah,
to the moon
yeah.
in '69, and they went like what 5 times between '69 and '72. How many times did they go between '69 and '72? Whatever, but they haven't been back since. And this one, they're not even going to the moon. They're flying around the moon.
Yeah, yeah.
You
See
don't
that?
think
See,
that just ain't
no,
suspicious?
no, yeah, yeah. That's one of the strongest points I've heard you make because I mean, think about it, right? The computer they used back when was like the size of a room.
Your
Now our
an
phones,
earbud has more
yeah,
power
exactly.
than
Today,
the computer the size of the
right?
room.
And that's today. So what's the excuse for us not being there again if we were there once upon a time with these huge computers? So
The
I like that
microchip
argument you
wasn't
make.
invented. The microchip wasn't invented.
Right, right. Our phones have like so much more power than that computer, but so how do we explain that? I mean, can you explain that? I don't know.
And they talked to the president from space. Cell phones were like decades away. Real cell phone like technology being available, cell phone towers being, everywhere was decades away. You still could have reception problems on Earth. They talked to the president on the phone from the moon.
Yeah, I remember that.
But you do know that like these type of technologies that we take for granted now
No,
are
no, no, no,
because
no, no, no. Stop resisting.
they're
They
because of
talked
NASA.
to the president on the phone from the moon. I'm talking about a rotary joint where you stick your finger in the hole, pause, and
Right.
they talked to the president on one of them joints
Yeah.
in
Well, it wasn't quite
19.
like that, but
Yo, stop resist. Can you give Ike that point about the computer? Can you give him can you at least objectively give him that point?
about what the fact that we have now like in the palm of our hands, that's something a million times stronger,
Yeah,
faster.
yeah, yeah.
No,
How
your
is it
ear,
that
your
how
ear, your earbud has more power than those computers.
the point that how is it that back when the computer they got to the moon landed on the moon with doesn't compare to what our phone right now, and we're not and back to the moon. Can you at least give I that point at least
I mean, then in that
generously?
case, then how come we don't have any colonies down into the Marianas Trench,
Because we don't
right?
give a
Like,
fuck about the Mariana Trench.
no, that's not true. That's not true. That's not true. It's the same. It's the same principle, right? If you're talking about technology versus like in the 1400s, where boats were like swimming around, like going from the continent to continent, right? Then by now we should have colonies down into
But
the
you do
ocean.
know there's only how deep they can go because of the pressure, water pressure. So there's a limit. Like they've reached their limit in submersion, right?
As of today.
No, yeah, but what I'm saying is it's like there's only so far down you can go, and they've only created this vessel that can go down so far. So remember the one a couple years ago that just imploded? Those millionaires or whatever went on that thing, and it just
yeah, crushed them.
Yeah, it crushed them. Yeah.
You do know that was around. They imploded next to the Titanic, which is like 2 miles down, right?
I got you.
But you know the deep Challenger Deep. That's the deepest part of the ocean, which is the Marianas Trench, and the Challenger Deep is the deepest part in that trench. We've been there a few times.
Okay, but what I'm saying is they know, like, you know how far you can go down, right? Isn't that established? How far they can go down in a submarine?
Well, yeah, we've been a submarine can only go down a certain depth, right? But this part where they actually had a specific mission.
It, you know what I mean? It's been established. We know how far we can go down. There's hundreds of people. I met a guy who was in the submarine. It's our Navy. There's thousands of people walking around that have been in a submarine. You can't, it's what, 20, 30, 40, 50 people walking around that have been in a spaceship going to the moon or whatever the fuck. Like, it's
we're talking about two different things though. I'm talking about a specific machine that was built that is supposed to go down to the deepest part of the ocean, which is the Marianas Trench, not a submarine, which only goes like maybe 2 miles at the most, or probably not even that, actually.
The Mariana Trench is 6 miles deep, right?
Right. 6 or 7 miles deep. Yeah.
Okay.
And do you know that more people have been to, I believe, more people have been to the moon than they have been to the Marianas Trench? It's much more technically challenging to go down.
But they haven't been to the moon. That's what I'm saying. The reason you can't go to the Mariana Trench because you can't. We don't know what's going on up there. Like, we can see when people go into submarines, we can see them. It's not CGI. We can track them. This moon shit is all fucking trusting what you're seeing on the screen.
So why don't you think that going to the Marianas Trench is some big conspiracy? The way the way
they haven't done it. They're not saying they did it.
Wait. You're saying they haven't? You're saying they haven't been to the Marianas Trench?
They're saying they can't do it, dude. That's the difference.
Wait. You're saying they haven't been
to the moon in 1969 in a Cadillac Brougham. That's the difference. Press 1. They're saying they're about to do it in a couple of minutes. Oh, let me hear this bitch. So this bitch is the head of something.
The glider queen.
Another woman. That's the fake part.
What's up with the red suit though?
Megan and Nicole.
And launch director Charlie Blackwell Thompson, again, we mentioned her a second ago. Her team have been training extensively for this moment since Artemis 1 launched in November 2022. Today they have
this shit. This is a set.
A message for Reed, Victor, Christina, and Jeremy.
Cut.
Right. Exactly. So this is all
Today,
bullshit.
You carry the work of thousands and the hopes of millions. Every
Yo,
test.
I swear that looked like, I'm not even trying to be funny. That shit looked like motherfucking what you call it? AI, because I do a lot of AI for my thumbnails, man. Well, you know.
Today, you
that looks like AI. Like shit. I'm not saying it is, but everything they do is so fake. Like, now this right here, look, look, it ain't a lot of diversity here. Look, all the women is in the front. Hey, look, what the fuck? Look at this shit, man.
carry the work of thousands and the hopes of millions. Every test, every simulation, every long day and night have led to this moment. This team is ready. The vehicle is ready, and you are ready. From the ground to the moon, Godspeed Artemis 2!
Beautiful, beautifully
I
said.
love that. I just love seeing all of the people who have contributed to this mission and the fact that this is what they've been working for. And
And
now
I worked at NASA in as an intern, not NASA, right? But I think it's 300 East Street Southwest. The NASA building is in DC, and we have Goddard. My sister, she worked at Goddard. That's how I got the job at NASA. I was in college, and in the summers I would go there, and I was they had like office buildings, they had like offices in NASA. And listen, the late 90s, everything was in files, was in file cabinets, and they were converting it to computers at the time. They had file cabinets and papers and shit. And it was like,
you worked at NASA?
Yeah, in 300 in the summer.
You're a psyop. You're probably part of the conspiracy.
No, I'm not. I mean, I can prove that shit. Like, it's not even like my sister worked at Goddard for like 5 years. And listen, I love her to death, but like she worked at Goddard Space Station in Maryland. Okay, I'm not saying the people that worked on you're not part of the spaceship part. You're just part of the bureaucracy, the infrastructure of the NASA building. You're not like anywhere. I never saw a spaceship. None of that shit, right? It's just a building with a bureaucracy in it, right? 300 East Street Southwest. Let me see if I can still pull the building up, man. But yeah, I worked there, man. And for 2 summers when I was in college.
Damn, that's dope. Hey, yeah, congratulations, man. I wish I had that fucking opportunity. Shit.
Yeah, NASA headquarters, DC. Okay. Yeah, NASA headquarters. Now, I haven't been in that building in 25 years. Okay, so I haven't been in that building in 25 years, but I just having worked there and being there, it's nothing. It was nothing like the at the time I didn't think of. I'm telling you, at the time I never thought about it. It's just in hindsight, right? I'm like, damn, wait a second, man. Shit, janky, you got a bunch of nigga. It was the part I was in was a bunch of black women. It's like the DMV and shit, right? And a bunch of college students, we were fucking around all day. We weren't doing shit. We were like fucking around and shit like all day. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't
Did you have your same beliefs back then too? About
no, hell no. I was a completely different person, man. But it's like the building is like right there in the city. It's not like out like on this big piece of land. It's like you go downstairs and there's a fucking like hot dog stand out front as soon as you come to the fucking door and shit. You know what I mean? And there's a goddamn like fucking like a deli and shit underneath this shit. It's crazy, but yeah. This was a long time ago, but I'm not gonna sit here and act like I was involved in like some goddamn spaceship shit. No, here go the building right here. Yeah, this building, 300 East Street. This is on my resume. If I could pull up a piece of my resume, I gotta find a resume, so I can so I know some of y'all people think I'm lying. This is literally on my resume, like because it was a big deal for me. You know what I'm saying at the time. Look at that building. The subway's right here. Like the tracks are right here. The delis down here and fucking stores on this side. And then it's like a motherfucking homeless people just hanging out all over the place. That shit is yeah, but anyway, man, let me not get sidetracked by that because I know people don't believe that. People probably ain't gonna believe me when I say it.
Yo, can you imagine? I'm just over here imagining. Can you imagine if humanity, we get to the moon, right? We're existing, we're living, going to school, going to work, yada yada. Can you imagine the sun man committing crime on the moon like they do here?
Of course.
Like
that's the first thing they're gonna do.
Just breaking laws, victimizing people, burglarizing shit on the moon.
Yo, that's the first thing they're gonna do.
Man, I don't know. I don't know why imagining that it makes me laugh. It sounds kind of funny.
Yeah, that's the first thing niggas gonna do when they get to the moon is that shit.
Man, it's just what can you say, man? Jesus.
They gonna make it hard to get to the moon though. If they ever get there, they not gonna
The Sun Man?
No, not the Sun Man, but let me pull up my resume. Let me see if I can find a resume.
Who gonna make it hard to get to the moon?
Here we go. Here we go. I just pulled up
Moon Sons.
let me see. Where is it? Okay, here we go. All right, let me just I'm just so I can just so I can show you that I'm not lying, man. This is serious, but I ain't want to call nobody. But like, yeah, this is my resume, right? This is my resume from back in the day. This is what I used to. This is my old address and shit like that, right? Right? But I worked as sales manager, premier, independent blogger, 2014 to the present. This is from 2018. This is from 2018. Sales associate, forklift, Home Depot, administrative assistant, Daniel A. Payne, intern at NASA, National Aeronautics, DC 2001.
Yo, you should put on their sociologist, criminologist, neurologist,
executive program assistant, Hurston Wright, Highsville, languages, English, Spanish, basic. So like I'm telling you, man, like I really, I'm not bullshitting. Like I literally worked at NASA in the year 2000.
If you would have stayed there, that could have been you right now.
Nah, man.
You could have been going to the moon.
It's a bureaucracy. Yeah. That building, the headquarters, nothing goes on there, man. It's just bullshit, shuffling papers back and forth. Like
you gotta start somewhere, bro.
It's black. Half the people is women. Most of the people is women and black. It's a job for like people from DC. You gotta understand, when you live in DC, it's different than living in anywhere else. Whereas other places got their industry, right? Your industry may be shipping. Your industry may be, mining or fracking. In DC, our industry is the government. So you got all types of niggas working in government buildings. It's not like it's nothing to see Shaniqua or Marquavius working in a government building in the DC, because that's the industry. We don't make nothing. We don't, you know what I mean? We don't have like a tobacco or sugar or you know what I mean? Lumber, nothing. Our industry is government. And NASA's a government agency. So I know a bunch of people that worked in all types of levels of the government. You know what I mean? All types of government buildings, all types of, you know what I mean? Stuff. It's not just me. I'm not trying to say it's just me.
So can you just like explain what is your reasoning of why you think they're doing all of this? What is the benefit of any of this?
Well, I said that earlier. I spoke about that earlier, man. I spoke about that earlier. I didn't hear the race to space, right? So the Russians did the first, like they went out in the orbit or went out past planes and shit, right? They went up for the furthest, right? So they were the first ones to allegedly go to space. So we were in competition with Russia back then. And then there was the space race. And Kennedy said, before the decade's over, we're going to get to space, right? Of course, 1969 rolls around. All of a sudden, we get to space. And they had to fake it. Because they didn't have technology. No, we faked it. And then everybody else who did it afterwards, it was just like, all right, it benefit. Look, India went to space. You think it doesn't benefit the Indian government to tell their people they went to space? It doesn't put them on, give the people like, damn, our government is serious. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but I thought you didn't believe in the satellites and the ISS and all that.
I
So
don't. I don't believe in
did-
any of that shit. But I'm saying tell the people.
Okay, so Russia lied also about going to space, or they did?
Of course, you can't get to space. The Van Allen belts, the firmament, you can't get to space.
Yeah. The Van Allen belts. Okay, let me explain to you real quick about the Van Allen belts. Okay, the Van Allen belts are were discovered by a guy from NASA named something Van Allen. I forgot his first name, and they discovered that there's like this highly charged particles from the sun that have been basically trapped by the Earth's the sphere, the magnetic sphere. I can't say the word right. And what happened is the fact that you're talking about the Van Allen belt, but it was discovered in 1955. So NASA discovers this unpenetrable belt, right? But yet makes it public and says, oh, we discovered this belt, but it's unpenetrable, and we're going to make this public.
Have you ever heard them asked about it?
Yeah, all the time they talk about it.
What do
it's
they
literally
say?
Named after a guy that worked. They say this. This is how you can get past it, because there's areas of the way you can get through it is areas that are much less populated with these highly charged particles, and the speed at which it's going through this Van Allen belt, the speed that the spacecraft is going through, it's so fast, and it only goes through for like 1 hour, and it's the equivalent of getting.
How do they know all of that about that shit that far away in 1969? How did they, or 1955? When you couldn't,
I don't know if they knew that. All I know is it was discovered.
When you had
in
to call an operator, and the operator had to transfer your phone call.
Yeah, all right, that's fine.
When you had to take a picture and you had to go into a dark room and dip the fucking film into some solution and then take it out and hang it up, and just to get an image of a picture. And that was, listen, I remember when I was at the Quaker school, they had a little room for kids that were in photography. You had to go into a dark ass room. Who remember that? You had to you take your pictures on your camera, and then you go into this dark ass room with all these damn like tubs of solution and shit, and you gotta put the image onto a fucking thing, onto a card or something, and then you gotta dip it in some solution, and then you gotta hang it up just to get the picture. And this was in the 90s.
Yeah, well, there's like a 3.5 minute video on YouTube.
I'm gonna watch it. We'll watch it. So let me just read some of these super chats. Salute to all you guys, man. Let's catch up with these super chats. Shout out to Big P. Big P said this dude debating Ock is a smooth brain. His ego won't allow him to admit he's been fooled or lied to. A lot of confidence coming from a casual follower of science like the rest of us. Yeah, you ain't no fucking like bookworm and shit, mother. You don't know what the fuck you talking about. Stop resisting. You don't know any more about this shit than we do.
Actually, I did help create the path to the moon and NASA because I work remotely for NASA. So it shows how much you know, Big Pete.
Oh shit! Shout out to Boy Kachina, man. He said Olmecs in Mexico were hardcore astronomers 2,000 years ago. We saw their pyramids set up north of Veracruz as well. No, my mom went down there. My mom went to see the pyramids a couple years ago. She took pictures standing in front of the pyramids and all that shit. And she told me, yeah, that shit is amazing. But astronomy and astrology, well, not astronomy. Astronomy is it's plausible. Like you chart the sky, then you put that's plausible. But those people not saying they built something to go out into space. I believe that they charted the sky. People all over the world charted the skies. So yeah, I'll give you that. I'm not denying astronomy. I'm not denying astronomy, and I'm not denying the pyramids. The pyramids are right there. We can see them. I know people who've been to the pyramids.
These folks also in the suit up room. Suit technicians were in there again to make sure that they get into the suits properly. And then a couple of them came out to the pad here to again do the same thing. Hey, are you comfortable in these suits? Is everything is as you expected? And then these folks here will help them get into Orion, buckle up.
So if they need all these people to get into the suits, right? Because this is like the sixth crew we've seen work on their suits, right? Pull the little tab, put it back, pull the Velcro open, close it again, stuff the pocket. Everybody keeps coming up and doing some shit to their suit, right? To make the flight, make them ready for flight. They about to go out that motherfucker, right? Just the four of them. Who gonna do that shit for them when they out there? When he take his suit off and take a shit, because you got to take your suit off to take a shit. They still ain't told us how they gonna take a shit, but you got to shit. How about this? Stop resisting. You do got to shit in 10 days. You got to shit, right? Within the period of 10 days, you're gonna have to shit.
Yeah.
Can we agree on that?
Yeah.
All right, good. At least we can agree on that. That's the first thing we've agreed on.
Yeah, you gotta take a piss. You gotta shit. You have to even shower. Like they have these special types of soaps and rinseless shampoos that you can use. Yep. Have all that.
Rinseless shampoo.
Yeah.
If they had a rinseless shampoo that worked, that shit would be in the fucking stores right now. Press 1. If they had rinseless shampoo, that shit would be in fucking Ulta and goddamn JCPenney and TJ Maxx.
No, not necessarily. You know why? Because it might not be up to the standards as normal shampoo, but they have to use this one in space because they have no other choice to use that rinseless shampoo. It might be like 50% as good as a regular shampoo, but it's better than nothing.
Salute to Jay Davis, man. He says, circle the earth 2 times, swing by the moon, and take some photos and come back, but cars only get 18 miles per gallon. Facts, man. Facts. Oh, man, facts.
Down because you've been inside a mock-up of the Orion spacecraft.
I don't know. I think I'm winning you over a little bit, man. I think I'm winning you over.
Working there. There's a heart from Christina Cook. Great to see that as she gets ready to get into the Orion spacecraft, one that they named Integrity. It certainly fits this crew from what
nobody's shaking or trembling.
Now, right now, the rocket's tanks are in what's called replenish mode.
Somebody would be trembling, man. Because here's the thing. I've seen accounts from soldiers and shit, going into battle. I'm talking about a real battle. They admit they're scared, man. They admit they were scared, man. You know what I mean? Like boxers getting in the ring. They admit sometimes they scared. You know what I mean?
But look, we know that gliders, they're just thrill seekers, man. Like they'll swim with sharks. They do crazy shit like that. That's not beyond the realm of possibility. Now, I'll give you this brother. The brother ain't that crazy. Brothers are wild, but they ain't that wild.
Nah.
Listen, if they showed any signs of fear, any signs of trembling, it'd be over for them.
No, it
wouldn't. There's a psychologist right in front of their face to make sure they're okay. If they show any signs of trembling or nervousness or fear, anxiety, they might be like, "Nah, man, you're not going."
Hey, do gliders not swim with sharks and crazy shit like that? Are they not like hanging out with poisonous snakes, kissing them like it's not gonna fucking bite your face off? Are they not? Answer me that. Yeah, they are.
But so
if any glider out there is getting offended by what I'm saying, I'm sorry for calling a spade, bro.
This is shit. So they're gonna be in this thing for 10 days, farting and shitting and sweating and eating, but not just sitting in this. If you sat this in on a fucking football field somewhere and just said y'all got to be in here for 10 days, that shit would be hell. They're hurtling around the earth twice and then slingshotting around the moon. Yo.
I agree. That does sound like torture. Unfortunately, they have to do that as being pioneers of the space
You don't
program.
have to do this. You don't. No, you don't have to do this. They allegedly want to do this. You don't have to. None of these people have to do this. What are you talking about? Have to is like
meaning Christopher Columbus. Christopher Columbus didn't have to sail the blues, right? He didn't have to sail the ocean, but he did. What I mean by have to, right? What I mean by have to is just meaning that they feel like they need to do this to push further to the humanity's limits, to the next level. So these are the steps.
What do you mean push further? They went to the moon 5 times between 1969 and 1972. They're not even going to the moon. They're just going to fucking fly around the moon. They're not going further. This is not going further, man. Words matter, dude. Words matter. Press 1. Words matter. Stop resisting. They're not going further.
No, they are. They're planning on actually putting boots on the ground within a couple of years of this.
Oh God, this bitch gonna tell us something.
Orion, obviously it is going to be very compact, sitting up there on top of the SLS rocket. Very compact, like I mentioned, over 355,000 pieces. So let me show you a couple key components.
155,000 pieces. And then you're gonna light it up with a gazillion gallons of rocket fuel. So much can go wrong. So much can go wrong.
Starting with these three
beautiful, educated glider queen speaking.
When the rocket blasts off, obviously it is going to get very
MS1,
fast. It's going to
NTD
get
on Ryan Earth 1 for
and windy. And so we have these 3 fairing panels in place to help protect our astronauts. I am also going to take you into a little bit closer look and talk about the LAS, or the Launch Abort System. This is the one piece that is going to be in place to protect the astronauts should something happen to go wrong in the first few minutes of launch. They can actually hit those abort motors, and these can activate within milliseconds, basically faster than you can even blink, and that is going to pull the crew and the crew capsule away from any danger. Now, obviously, we hope that those are not needed, and if that is the case, then about 3.5 minutes into flight, the LAS and those fairing panels will actually activate and jettison away. They'll fall away from the rocket, because at that point, the crew can actually abort the spacecraft safely by themselves. Now, we've talked a lot about the crew capsule right here. This is where they are going to spend the duration of their flight. We're going to talk a lot more about that one in just a little bit. But for now, let me jump down here to the service module. This is the one, we're going to think of this as the powerhouse for the spacecraft. It's pretty much going to provide them with almost everything that they need for the entire mission. Temperature control, removing the carbon dioxide, providing them with oxygen, so much more. You can also do course corrections and things like that. So super quick breakdown, but as you can see, all of these components together are going to make the spacecraft one that is built not just to fly, but to protect, sustain, and bring those astronauts home. All right, lots more to come, but let's see where we are with the
technical
crew.
marvel.
You, Megan.
What a technical masterpiece.
Hey, thanks so much, Megan. A lot of useful
What humans
information
can
there.
do when they put their
And we did
minds
want
to
to
it.
point
This
out
is a
that you did
beautiful,
hear over the
beautiful
NTD on Ryan Earth 1
time right now. It's
NTD,
so impressive.
I have you loud and clear on OE1.
And I have you the same. Welcome aboard.
I'm not knocking everything. Stop resisting. I'm just knocking
And
this.
so again, we are now
This is
hearing
bullshit.
mission audio
I'm not
loops,
saying all white
specifically the
is
Orion
vanity
to
was
Earth
on
1 loop,
real.
the
Man, this is
communication
bullshit.
channel for the crew.
Shout out to Barry
Successful
B. Barry B
contacts
is in
by
the
both
building.
Victor and Christina.
CDR, OTC Orion Earth 1.
CDR.
Yes, sir. Configure ARS to shoot mode per
Why?
EPROC 10.1.1. Crew ingress and vehicle pre-launch config.
We shouldn't be able to see this. Isn't there like a what do they call it, quality control or patent pending or something isn't it like top secret or something? You know, proprietary blend. Even KFC won't let you know what spices is in KFC chicken, man. Why they letting the whole world see how they fly? Don't they want to have an advantage on the other countries? Why do they letting everybody see this shit? It seems like they're trying to prove that they're really going to the moon. Or they're really going somewhere, that they're really doing this. It seems like they're trying to prove that this is really happening. People who, even in life, people who are real, like people who got money, don't wear their money. Niggas in the projects wear $300 tennis shoes and, you know what I'm saying, and Gucci belts and shit while they living in the projects. Real rich people don't do shit like that. Real rich people wear Birkenstocks and sweatpants and shit, right? Unless they're going somewhere, right? Real rich people drive, you know, Mercedes E-Class or some shit like that, or you know, an Audi or something like that, and have like 3 cars or something. Fake rich niggas who gonna be broke in 10 years do the most. Whenever I see somebody doing the most, just like how a blustery person is actually the most insecure person in the room, the person full of bluster and, you know what I mean, and the baddest motherfucker in the room is usually the loudest motherfucker in the room, is usually the weakest motherfucker in the room. I feel like they're doing so much to try to make us see this is real. It's not resonating with me. It's making my internal, you know what I mean, shit go off. Like my red flags are going off. It's like you don't have to do all of this if you're really going there. Y'all have just did it.
So so let me ask you, what would it take for you to actually believe this? Like, what would it take for you to say, damn, they actually did this shit?
What would it take? It would take me seeing real footage of them doing this shit. Like, we can't trust all the footage is just CGI, man. Stop using CGI. Use real footage, and they could prove it. They could
would you believe if this happened? Like, let's say when that rocket took off today, right? Let's say that there was like a satellite up there that recorded that rocket from takeoff
the whole way. Follow it the whole way, and follow the ship the whole way and shit. And
well, why wouldn't you say, well, no, that's
give the astronauts lie detector tests when they come back. Give them lie detector tests when they come back. Give them lie detector tests. I'm not seeing anything that suggests that real people would do. Real people don't act like this. People that are actually going to do that thing don't act like this. You know what I mean? They don't. So we're supposed to believe this is their inside of this. I just don't believe that. I don't believe, and I know you said what actually, like, try to nail me, you try to, give me this concrete. A lot of it is just everything. It's a total. Nothing seems real about this. I just want it to seem real. I wanted to seem real. I wanted to feel real. I wanted real people do things real people do. None of these people are doing anything that real people do.
If they offered you full access internship,
I still wouldn't know. I still wouldn't know, because here's the thing. I still wouldn't be like, you could shield me from that, right? You could, what, you're going to have me in the cockpit Like I would have to go. You know what I mean? Like these people, I just don't believe these. Listen, let me just put it like this. I don't believe that these people are in that fucking shit. There's so much fuel in that motherfucker.
Yeah, I think like 90% of it.
Integrity copies.
Yeah.
So he got these big ass gloves
There's
on,
communication going between
and he using the
Orion
stylus with these big ass
Commander
fucking
Reed Wiseman and
gloves
NASA Test
on.
Director Jeff Spaulding. As I was saying, Christina Cook will be reading measurements from the counterbalance assist arm. So you're going to hear her be asked by the NASA Test Director.
Why AI ain't doing a lot of that shit? Why these people have to do the shit? Why can't AI do the shit? Why did he got to sit there and do whatever the fuck he doing on there? Like, why does he have to do anything?
To read that CBA, counterbalance assist arm, it's mechanically latched by the closeout crew using tools, but there's a hydraulic assist. It's pneumatically opened and closed rather with a pressure assist that helps open it up. Not only that hatch, but also the last hatch. There's 2 hatches there that we'll see that will be closed, but this is in case of an emergency out there at the pad. If the crew, for some reason, needed to exit quickly, then they would exit the spacecraft by pulling that lever, which would open both hatches. Those hatches are heavy. The Orion hatch is hundreds of pounds.
ATC cameras 1 and 2 both set to record.
ATC copies.
And just an update on the launch countdown, continuing to monitor the team's communications here and fire.
You needed to come back here to the Space Coast and see this mission lift off today. It is.
Of course, it's all niggas and women. Of course, it's non-binary, goddamn, some fucking.
That part I 100% agree with you on. Like that's just it was just so over the top.
Today.
It is
Such an
absolutely
agenda.
amazing. I feel like the little 9-year-old girl inside me is so excited. Like, I'm from around here. I grew up watching launches in my backyard. And so this seems like such a full circle happy moment for me.
Now, you are an aerospace engineer looking hopefully to join the workforce in the future. How does it feel to be here and see firsthand what that work does?
It's just so cool to see what I've been working for the last 4 years and then 12 years before that just actually be physically happening in front of me. It's something I never dreamed of as a kid.
And I'm actually joined here by the astronaut himself, Mr. Josh.
I believe everything is part of their little magic trick. He said, actually physically happening in front of me. It's like he's suggesting that shit to people.
Now, you have a history with NASA as well. You did an externship here. And how did that kind of play into your passion for aerospace and then the foundation that actually provided this opportunity for these students today?
100%. So I spent a month here around the Artemis 1 mission, which was a tremendous opportunity to learn about the space program and also what's next. And so to be back here for Artemis 2 and unfortunately, Artemis 1 went in the middle of the season, so it's surreal to be here for Artemis 2. And with my foundation, like the goal is to be able to take advantage of the opportunities that I've had and pass them along to the future of the industry and give them the opportunity to see what all their hard work can accumulate into. So it's an honor to.
That's a fucking word salad of fucking cliches, man.
Be here. We're really appreciative of all the engineers and all the hard work that's gone into this moment, and we're excited to watch history happen today.
Absolutely. And as a group, I think if you guys had one well wish for the team today, what would you say? I think we can all join together, maybe say, go Artemis. Go Artemis.
I mean, look, it's obvious they're trying to like push an agenda. And also they're trying to act like they're like super happy and super excited. I really don't think they're like really that happy, excited. It's all like make it look good for the camera, promote NASA, promote all this shit. But it still doesn't take away the fact that they have to get it. Yeah.
Salute to Alicia Shadows, man. She says, share the video where they admit they taped over the original moon landing footage. Yeah. Oh, man. Oh, man.
These would look like they're like commenting on like LPGA tour or something like that.
Yeah, it seems like a golf tournament, man. This is ridiculous. Oh, God, this bitch again.
Stage processing at Kennedy Space Center. My team is responsible for that core stage, and it's our responsibility to make sure that core stage is safe.
She's in charge of this shit. Yo, come on, man.
I worked on the Artemis 1 mission, and after that mission completed, I was assigned as the entry flight director for Artemis 2. I can't wait to see the hatch open after splashdown. That's when we know that our mission will be complete and the crew will have safely returned to the moon and back
Why
to
you
Earth.
can't? He can't wait until Why he can't wait till they get in orbit and I know they're safe. They're past. Why he can't wait till they get past the Van Allen? But the one thing he can't wait for is when they land. It's so many steps before that. I can't wait till their first revolution around the Earth. I can't wait till their second revolution around the Earth. I can't wait till they get at 4.5 million miles from the Earth so that I can know. He just can't wait till they land. That's such a weird thing to do.
Close-out crew is responsible for getting the astronauts up to the White Room, getting their helmets and gloves on, getting them into the vehicle safely, connecting all their umbilicals, making sure they're ready to go for launch, and then closing the crew module hatch. The reason we do this is to expand mankind's knowledge. If I can be a part of that, doing anything, I want to do that.
The launch director role really is to step back and kind of take that big picture view of launch. How are we doing on any NCs? How are we doing on our timelines, our procedures? Artemis 2 is a beginning. It's going to inspire a new generation. It's going to uncover science. It's going to serve as a pathway to places that we have never been before.
And to meet more people of Artemis, you can head to the link we're going to put up on your screen there. Just, again, really nice to see all the faces that have put in the work, the time, the hours, the dedication to get us to today.
Yeah, so many professionals that worked so hard on this mission.
And what was really fun to see is, we interviewed Taylor Hose, closeout crew lead, as he said, and that's who we are now seeing inside of the White Room as they are getting ready to close out Orion and close one of two hatches. We have the side hatch of the crew module as well as the launch abort system hatch, correct?
Yeah, the astronauts are in the capsule. They're ready to go, and now the White Room is very busy as they're getting ready to close both of those hatches. It's a great shot right there where you can see them. Almost looks like they're doing that hatch seal inspection that we talked about.
And so, Nicole, as we continue to see them get ready to close that smaller hatch, again, the crew, but we definitely know we can't do that alone. We often hear NASA leadership say that, this is not something one nation can do. This is something that is a collaboration of nations. And that's why we have European countries. We also have Canada, again, joining us on this ambitious test flight.
Yeah, of course, it goes back to the old proverb, if you want to go fast, you go alone. If you want to go far, you go together. And we want to go far. We want to get onto Mars eventually. And
that black dude just conveniently, a black dude popped up. It seemed like you have more Umbritos. Umbritos are the best when it comes to working on cars and shit on Earth. I ain't no Umbritos doing this shit. No Umbritos.
So we're going to get to the moon first, and you can't do that alone.
So thank you again, singer Ann Wilson, for that beautiful rendition. Again, reminding us of what it is we are trying to accomplish for all, by all. We are now back inside the White Room with the closeout crew. Our full view of the rocket looking glorious on there with, again, some clouds, but still weather is good for long.
Needed. We were also checking out the
All right.
right, Megan and Nicole, yeah, you mentioned that checklist before launch. That checklist is going to continue during the mission, as well as there are several vital objectives that we are hoping to accomplish with this mission. So we've talked about the rocket. We've talked a little bit about Orion. Obviously, during Artemis 1, we had that test flight, and there were no humans on board. That is our one big difference for this one, and we are going to have that crew this time. So what are they going to be up to during this mission? Let me tell you just a little bit. Now, for Artemis 1, like I mentioned, we were really focused on the SLS, making sure it had the power and capabilities that we needed. We were also checking out the Orion spacecraft in deep space environments, making sure that it was good to go. Now, for Artemis 2, we are going to be taking the testing for Orion to the next level by adding that human component. So those test objectives are going to start even before launch. Like you mentioned, they are out there making their way through that checklist. But these objectives are going to start now, and that includes safety. So one really great example of safety is going to be something called the egress baskets. They're out there in the spacecraft, obviously, and should a situation happen to come up, they are going to have something called the egress baskets they can get in, and those are going to zip line them essentially down to the ground within seconds to safety. Another great example of those safety procedures are going to be the LAS, or the Launch Abort System that I mentioned earlier. Just a reminder, that's the one that can pull the crew and capsule away from any danger within a few minutes of into the launch. Now, those are just a couple quick examples, but our recovery teams have been training extensively, quite a lot, to make sure that they are ready and prepared for any challenging situation that could possibly arise. All right. Several other objectives that we are going to be looking at are also going to be communication checkouts. That is going to be vital. I know we talked a little bit earlier about all the maneuvering that they're going to be able to do.
I will say this. This is the stuff you want to see. Like, they're like actually addressing what could go wrong. Like, shit could go wrong. You know what I mean? I'm glad they're addressing what could possibly go wrong. This is actually good, you know, for their grift. I mean, the hoax they're doing right now. This is actually real behavior that humans would actually do.
We want to make sure that they have full communication ability from space to ground so that we can fully support them here. We are also going to be checking out those life support systems. Obviously, we've talked a lot about the service module and what it is going to do for the crew, but we want to make sure that those life support systems are fully functioning, obviously, before we send them farther into deep space. That's going to be critical for them. So on top of being able to maneuver the spacecraft and check everything out, we are also going to be making sure that everything is fully functioning. So as you can see, big part of this mission is to make sure that the spacecraft, the hardware, and all the operations are working, and that the data is going to make sense. And speaking of recovery, we are also going to have the opportunity at splashdown to recover that launch or that flight data, and we're going to be able to take that back, analyze it, and make sure there are if there are any enhancements we need or changes we need to make before our next missions, we'll be able to do so. So they're going to still lots to do. They're going to stay very busy, obviously. And with that, I will turn it back over to you, Megan.
2 hours, 25 minutes and counting, and the crowd, check it out, continues to grow at our Banana Creek viewing location. They will have a great...
We have an opportunity to look at the moon from deep space on the far side for the first time in over 50 years.
Having human eyeballs and brains back around the moon is going to unlock a new generation of lunar science discovery. The human eyeball
Do you have a telescope,
is taking in
No.
so much data in just a split second. They'll be able to tackle impact history,
Yo.
volcanic history. They'll be able to look at
Another
how
one.
the albedo, or kind of the shade and hue of the moon and the color of the moon, can tell us something about how
Yo,
that
can you imagine the first son to
We're
commit a
integrating
murder
science in
on the
ways
moon?
that have never been integrated into human exploration before. We have a front
Yeah, I
mission
mean-
control, flight controller position called the Science
Pretty
Back
crazy.
Room. We have a brand new science back room where it's basically our brain trust of lunar scientists and geologists.
Wicked
supporting
hasn't
crews
said anything
of
for the
future.
past 1 hour.
And
He
our
comes up with that shit.
Liftoff. Earth
I mean,
views
think
from
about it.
Orion.
Stop
Hilarious,
resisting.
dog.
Flyby.
Think
so
about it. I
funny.
mean, am I wrong?
Tell us again on NASA's
No.
Instagram or Twitch accounts, and we'll share
Shit
your
is so
answers
funny.
a little later in the broadcast.
That's a tough one. I don't know what my answer would be.
I know. I don't know either. I'm excited for it all, but that's a cop-out. All right, now let's head back over to Banana Creek. Again, the crowds there, really excited. People coming from all over the country, from around the world. Why don't we get another check with Leah Martin to see who she's caught up with now?
Well, Megan, we were a little while ago talking to some students from around the globe. Today, we're actually talking to some local students who are from right here, locally, Merritt Island in Titusville. We talk a lot about the Artemis generation and about the students who are going to become the next generation of dreamers, of engineers, of scientists and technologists. And I'm actually standing with a group of those students here today. Our local high school has actually implemented a really neat new program in the spirit of being able to create these pipelines for employment and engagement. Can you tell me a little bit about what Merritt Island High School is doing?
Sure. Well, this is a new program, first of its kind here at Florida. And basically what we're studying is astronautics and aviation, kind of blended the two together. We have flight simulators in our lab, but students are also learning about engineering, aerospace engineering, and we're trying to make all kinds of
accident happened, and it helped me understand how the general public felt about the astronaut corps, right? Like, these are the people that we want to be, and that just gave me an easy thing to strive toward. The biggest fear that I've had to overcome in my life is doubting myself. Going to college when no one in my family had gone to college was a huge risk. I had more confidence in my athletic ability than in my academic abilities. I could play football.
Imagine him going to a sun school.
I didn't know if I had what they had. I think addressing that self-doubt was a part of, swinging for the fence and trying to go get an engineering degree, not just go to college, but get an engineering degree.
Hell on earth.
Do something challenging and technical, like flying. Apollo is known.
He would be bullied to death for being smart.
That we have here at the press site, and actually even to the right of us, so camera left. No, sorry, the right of your screen. Left of us, plenty of other people there, set up with their own tents, broadcasting to their own viewers. And so again, just really cool to see everybody wanting to share in this moment.
Yeah, how many media tents we can see from here. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
I think it's important to share this message with the whole world.
Yeah. And so let's take a look now.
But what if he's one of those underqualified
parts
DI people, you know what I mean?
We have this shot here.
That can't end well.
The U.S. Space and Rocket Center in Huntsville, Alabama.
Oh, man. Look
Just kidding. Museum of Flight, Seattle, Washington. So sorry. Hello to you over there. Sorry, I thought that you were in Alabama. But here you are from Seattle, Washington. Again, the Museum of Flight. They must have had a special event to bring people there to watch, as well as a special event here. Now, correctly, the U.S. Space and Rocket Center, Huntsville, Alabama. Of course, they would have a lot of people here, and I'm sure this crowd will grow when we get closer to launch. Marshall, the home of the SLS rocket.
Yes. Yeah, this is a great chat. You can see all the people there, and obviously you've got quite a few artifacts in there as well. Oh,
now they know. Yeah, now they know. They're on the broadcast. That's too funny.
Awesome.
Hey, listen, it's all right. We can sit and chill until we wait for the opening of the window.
Females that are talking, are they in on it, or do you think they just been bamboozled also?
I think there is a level where people believe that all this stuff is real. I don't know where that level in this totem pole is, but I wouldn't be surprised if they thought that this was real. Yeah.
Yo, next time that people bring up sun crime and all these sun teams, they could say, well, what about this sun astronaut? We successful too. Oh, okay. This sun man astronaut negates all the fucking violent crime and chaos that suns bring because of this one motherfucker.
Man. Okay, so here goes. This is the flight.
Press one.
Here
So
go.
obviously this is not going to be a
Here you go right here.
No, there on the broadcast. That's too funny.
Awesome.
Hey, listen, it's all right. We can sit and chill until we wait for the opening of the window. No, there we are.
I would like to hear just one guy with some
Everybody's
bass in
excited.
his voice
Thank you
explain
guys
something.
for
It's
showing
so
us your
irritating to be
excitement. I know deep down it was in there.
Ah.
It's just that you felt like sitting at the moment, and that's all right.
It's a little
Women
delay.
ain't interested in
that's
this
all
type
right.
of shit.
Well, thanks so much to
Women care
those
about
supporting
makeup
these
and
watch
hair and
parties
shit
and
like
bringing
this.
them to us live here. Actually, our video paths are taking quite a circuitous route to be able to bring those live views in from Seattle as well as
There should be
Alabama.
women astronauts, man. Somebody got to cook and clean up
In
there.
the broadcast now. And so why are we going to the moon? Why does NASA want
Press
to build
1.
a moon base there? Here's Megan Carter again with our moon board.
All right. Thank you, Megan. Yeah, so we are right around that hour-and-a-half mark, hopefully for that launch. It's going to be very exciting. So they are going to have a few days to be around the low Earth orbit, and then they'll be heading on to the moon. So yes, let's talk what will be happening. Why are we going to the moon? So obviously this is not going to be a landing, as we've discussed. They are going to be coming with 4,000 to 6,000 feet around the moon's surface, and this is going to connect us directly to our past. Those Apollo missions did have 6 lunar landings, and the Artemis campaign is looking to build on that past by going back to the moon, staying longer, and then going farther.
Another
going to do
question
that
would be
and
that
why?
if this is
We
all
have
made up and
obviously
fake, right?
talked a little bit about that lunar
Uh,
South Pole, and we are
why wouldn't they just say we're
focused
landing there
specifically on the far side
and
of the moon
fake
for
that
this one for a
instead of
specific
saying, "Oh, we're
reason.
just going to be
You
like a
might have
orbit,
guessed we're
and
going to
not
be looking
land"?
for some resources, especially, and that's going to be water or water ice. That
I
is
think
going to be
Hawkins at the
giving
moon
us
right
some
now.
really critical
He's
pieces for
gone.
future missions.
Oh,
And
man.
as you can see here, we have
I'm not
identified
going.
9 potential
Listening.
landing zones. So this
I'm
is going to be
listening
a
to this shit.
critical objective for our
I'm
crew.
trying to figure out what this bitch is talking
Depending
about.
on when they launch, we will
But he
determine
presented
when
an
they will be
argument to
visible.
you.
But we do
He
have
said,
these
what did you
9
say,
landing zones
Stavridges?
right here around the Shackleton
I
crater.
said,
And as you can see here,
if
a
this
lot
is
of
all
that
like,
area is
made up and
deep
stuff like
and
that,
dark. And
how come
Similar to
they're
Apollo 8
not just going
in
all the
terms
way
of
and
that.
say, we're gonna land in the moon on the moon right now? Like, why is this like the
Well, because they
precursor
would have to
fakeness to the other fakeness?
because it would have to be that would be harder to fake. Like they can't fake going to the moon because that like you'd have to recreate a moon somewhere. And the last time they did that, people believed it for like 30 years, but now they're not believing it anymore. So it's like they originally tried to listen, let me just say this. Going to the moon with the technology we have now, you would be able to wear some Google glasses or some whatever glasses, right? And we would be able to see everything through your eyes. You know what I mean? The technology nowadays, body cams and shit like that, like you wouldn't have to have, I guess, the third guy with Apollo who was filming when they took off from the moon. Who was filming when they took off? I don't know, but whatever. But all of them would have on like body cams or GoPro glasses or whatever, and they just be walking around. It would be either it's the moon or it's not. You know what I mean? That would be harder to fake. You know what I mean? Harder to fake.
So will they have that faking technology in the next few years when they're actually supposed to go? Will that fake technology to the moon will be invented by then?
You can't go to the moon, so I think they're gonna keep faking and lying and shit until eternity. Yeah, they're just gonna keep faking and lying. And
But you don't believe in the moon, period, though, right?
I don't believe in the moon, period. No, I believe in the moon. It's right there. I can see the moon. I don't know what it is, though. I don't know what it's like. I don't know if it's hard, pause, or if it's a hologram. I don't know what the fuck it is. You know what I'm saying?
But you don't believe in outer space, you said.
Yeah, outer space is like the moon could be there and we can't get to it. Like outer space is like us being able to go. Like, listen. If if they're really going to, if these people are really in that thing with all that jet fuel in it, right? This program would take on a more serious tenor. Everybody's smiling, everybody's laughing, everybody. This is a serious moment, man. No one's capturing that. No one's conveying that in their behavior. No one. Which would kind of make you think that they're all in on it, because somebody would be freaking out. Nobody's freaking out. Oh God!
This is
about an Indian guy.
Victor, who's
that an Indian guy?
Together to make that mission possible.
My dream for this space program
Another woman.
Oh,
is that we would
fucking sickening.
not just push the boundaries, but that we push them together.
And liftoff of Artemis 1. We rise
Now you're convincing me with the woman angle. I see what you mean.
It takes a team to do great things. And Artemis has an
I
incredible
mean,
team.
not to take away from Mark, but I did kind of bring that
We
up
have
first.
international partners. We have commercial
I
partners and
brought that
industry
up before
partners.
you came up here, dude.
It takes unity to accomplish great things. And
It's kind of
that's what this mission's
suspicious,
all
man. What I'm wondering is, where's all the alphabet?
They're
There's
probably
no-
our money into the
they're
moon
probably there too.
and lighting it on fire. We're putting that money right back into the economy in ways that
Like
benefit
somebody with
everybody.
blue
So
hair and a septum
every
nose,
dollar that
man.
comes out of the Treasury that goes to support this mission goes back into the Treasury 3 times. What is very important to me is that we do it the right way, and that we do it with our values, that our industries grow, that our communities grow, that our families are healthy and safe and have amazing things to work on. Then we're going to build machines to go even further onto Mars.
That is our generation, the Artemis generation, that defines the starting point of our exploration future.
I just want to say thank you to all of the hands that have touched a part of this program and the hearts that have moved everyone to this goal, because we're going to the moon and we're going beyond.
One team. One team.
One team, one dream.
What I really like about that package is, again, just reminding people that this is spurring so many jobs across the country.
Yeah, across the country and across the world, right? The whole world has a part of this. The Artemis Accords are signed by over 40, 50 different countries. And so, yeah, we're taking all of the taxpayers' money and we're putting it right back into the jobs here in the U.S.
Of every NASA
We're
astronaut.
taking all the taxpayers' money and we're putting it right back in jobs in the U.S. Why do you have to say that? Because you know you're stealing our money. You're not doing anything. This is not
Launching from Kennedy Space Center since Apollo 7 in 1968. They walked outside the Neil Armstrong Operations and Checkout Building to greet a crowd on flight day 6 when they fly around the moon by more than 4,000 miles.
Yeah, it's a long ways. It's tough to fathom 250,000 miles from Earth, right? I mean, space, the space station is only 250 miles. And so we're going, I don't want to do that.
Space station is 250 miles. They're going 250,000 miles. Who believes that they're going to travel 250,000 miles to the moon? After circling around the Earth twice, they're going to travel 250,000 miles to the moon. 250,000.
Look, math, but we're going much further than that. But it's important, right? Because we want to get back to the moon. We want to see the surface. We want to see the far side of the moon. And the way we do that is by breaking distance records.
Yeah, and the exact distance record depends on exactly when they launched, like the time, the day. So we'll learn more as we go into this 10-day mission with the Artemis 2 crew. But here we are, 32 minutes, 50 seconds and counting from the open launch window. Feels really surreal here as more and more
I got something to say.
come
When
together
you
on
were
the
little,
site lawn here at Kennedy Space
when you were
Center.
little, you didn't have that
why don't
poster
we
in your
take a
room? That astronaut up in space by himself above the Earth.
I never would have. I never thought that any of this shit was fake back then. No, I also didn't think about it deeply either. It was just something that, like, it was just a fact. Like, so I didn't think about it deeply.
Well, I'll tell you what, man.
Hold.
This got me motivated to build my own spaceship. I'm gonna fucking do it.
We'll go to the next stable holding point. This is how GLS configures the rocket and ground systems to a stable point where they can stop the countdown if that's needed. But right now, we are counting down. Our next big milestone, looking to retract the crew access arm.
GLS is go for crew access arm retract.
And there you see the crew access arm moving away. That's the path that the astronauts took to ingress into the rocket. Until this point, that was their way off the pad if they needed to evacuate. But now with that arm retracting, the backup transitions to a launch abort system. And they'll begin arming that shortly. Of course, the launch
Board, Stan.
Eight minutes, 40 seconds into the flight, we have a nominal main engine cutoff head.
It's 1 minute and 30 seconds. Right now, the 4-person Artemis 2 crew is 248,000 miles away from the moon. And if all goes well, they will fly by it in 6 days.
GLS is go for core stage to internal power.
All right, there's the rocket's core stage, which houses 3 flight computers, is now on its own power. There's no more hold time because there's no more margin on these batteries. So we would have to recycle back to T-minus 10 to recharge if we had a hold.
One minute.
Right now, the rocket does not know what the T0 is, but coming up at T-minus 33 seconds, control shifts from the ground launch sequencer to the rocket's onboard autonomous launch sequencer, or ALS. The rocket will count itself down, but honor any holds that could come from the ground. Now, shortly after liftoff, Houston will take control of the rocket, and my colleague Gary Jordan will take over commentary.
GLS go for ALS.
Great call out. The rocket is on its own. 4 brave explorers ready to ride the most powerful rocket NASA has ever launched. Sound suppression water is flowing.
15.
And here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7. RS-25 engines lit. 4, 3, 2, 1. Booster ignition. And liftoff. The crew of Artemis 2 now bound for the moon. Humanity's next great voyage begins.
Good roll pitch.
Roger, roll pitch.
Houston now controlling the flight of integrity on the Artemis 2 mission around the moon.
Integrity, AMT high.
AMT high.
On time passing 30 seconds into the flights. Integrity passes the ultimate MECO. Target milestone. Mission Control Houston seeing good performance on the 4 main engines. Space Launch System core stage. Integrity, 3 miles in altitude. Traveling more than 1,200 miles per hour.
What's up, Doug? What's your thoughts, man?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, you good. Loud and clear, man. Go ahead.
Hey, so I've been wanting to do this for a while, but I was thinking about fixing your flat Earth, and you're gonna debunk it yourself if you're ready. If you'll indulge me.
Go ahead. I'm listening. I'm ready.
Okay, so you need to bring up a flat Earth map of your choice. That's the start. It should take about 2 minutes. I'm betting.
Flat Earth map.
Yep. Your choice.
Okay. Oh, all right.
All right. I'm gonna bow out, man. Thanks for letting me come up and trying to
You got it.
go up against you, man. I'll check you out later.
All right, man. It was
Hey, good to see you,
having a shield on, man. You performed admirably as a NASA shield, man.
Anytime. See ya.
Yeah, man. Go ahead, Doug.
Now I'm in the hot seat.
Go ahead, man.
Okay, so based on this map, you need to pick 2 cities, like
Melbourne. We'll do Melbourne.
Okay.
And we'll do fucking Legos. Goddamn Legos, man. Melbourne, straight line.
How about Melbourne and South Africa, like way far away, or better yet, how about Melbourne and somewhere in South America, the opposite side of that map.
Mm-hmm.
So then what you do is you go to any air travel, as if you were booking a flight.
Mm-hmm.
And again, your choice. You book a flight and look at the distance of travel from those 2 points.
You said Melbourne to what's the city? Buenos Aires?
Buenos Aires is fine.
All right. You want to see the fight path?
Well, no, I don't need to see it. Just how many hours is that flight?
Oh, okay. Let's see how long. Flight. You want to know the distance and time, right?
Yeah.
It's 17 to 20 hours.
Okay. Now look where I'm at in Alaska.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the middle, right?
You're right here. Yeah.
Yeah. So I should be way less time to get from Melbourne to me, right?
From Melbourne to here. Yeah. Right.
Yep. So now look at that flight.
It depends on the route they take. Like if they're not going to take this route though.
Why? Okay, and that's fair. Why wouldn't they? I mean, they're a commercial for-profit business. Why wouldn't they take the most direct route?
Probably they want to stay close to land because this is nothing but there are a lot of islands out here. Wait a second. There's a shit ton of islands out there. Okay.
How are they getting to Buenos Aires and staying close to land?
Right. Okay. They're coming. They're going to come to Europe, and then they're going to go down. They're going to come on. That's flight. You talking about a straight flight? A straight flight from Melbourne to Buenos Aires? A straight flight?
However they want to do it, it doesn't matter. I'm just saying.
You said Alaska to
Melbourne, or Alaska to Buenos Aires, because on that map it's about center, right?
Mm-hmm. Alaska to Juneau is going to be 20 to 26 hours.
From where?
20 to 26 from Juneau, Alaska.
Don't do Juneau. Do Anchorage. Juneau's not a hub.
Okay. Anchorage. Yeah. Anchor, baby. I mean Anchorage. Let's see. Hold on. Jesus Christ. To Anchorage. 23 to 24 hours.
And it was how many hours to
17 to 20.
from Melbourne to Buenos Aires.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't make sense, does it?
Well, you got the wind, trade winds. The wind is also like
You're going the same. You're going the same direction, even according to how you suggested it. Going towards Europe first.
You said going towards Europe?
Well, that's what you said. You said you assumed it would go Melbourne to Europe and then to South America. But you could do the same. Try Melbourne to South Africa. Again, on that same map, it's clearly further away.
Melbourne to Johannesburg.
Yep.
13 hours and 50 minutes.
Right.
14 hours.
Yeah, almost half the time of getting from Melbourne to Anchorage, according to this map.
Mm-hmm. There's something that explains that, though.
There is.
What is that?
It's called the Earth is actually spherical. It's not a perfect globe. It's a little offset, but it's pretty much for something that's 12,000 miles in diameter. It's pretty much as close to a sphere as you can get.
Wow.
So I leave you with that because I want you to just when you have some spare time, play with that concept of travel.
Right.
And again, knowing that all the people flying those commercial flights are for-profit businesses. So they're not going to waste fuel and fly an exorbitant amount of extra miles.
You're right. I mean, it's plausible. Don't get me wrong. I don't know everything.
Oh, no.
I just feel like this NASA shit is fake. And if NASA's fake, the globe is based on NASA's findings, right?
Well, you read my post early on tonight. I'm highly skeptical of the initial moon landing claims. Based on technology and a lot of other factors, I think there's a good possibility that was BS. But in 2026, sending a rocket to circle the moon and come back is highly plausible.
Yeah, I can believe that. I can definitely believe that. I mean, why wouldn't you take advantage of that stuff if you could? Yeah, but this is whether the Earth's flat or it's round. How about that?
Well, I only leave one conclusion on that premise.
Yeah, I listen. I got you. It could be real. All this shit could be real. It could be. You know what I mean? But I just feel like it's not. I feel like. What do you think about like the way the people are acting? Are they having human? Did you see human like reactions and actions and stuff like that?
Well, there's a thrill seeker gene out there, and I definitely don't have it to the degree of a lot of people. And I like I said earlier, there's a mountain. I forget which one it is. It's one of the big 11, and the fatality rate of climbers of that mountain is in the neighborhood of 30%. It means 1 out of 3 people that attempt that mountain die. And it's just, I wouldn't dream of taking that kind of risk, no matter how big the thrill. It's not in my DNA. But there are people that do that. Mount Everest, I think, is 1 out of 10 fatalities, which is insane.
Yeah, I mean, I people do great things. People challenge the limits of what we think human beings are capable of. We do.
Yeah.
And at the same time, this could still be fake.
If free climbers, guys that climb up sheer cliffs barehanded, and a fair percentage of those people fall to their death, it's just beyond reason to me. I just can't fathom that.
Yeah, I mean, Yeah.
And that's something you and I have seen. We've seen the people do it. We've seen videos of some of those people falling, and you look at it and you go, I can't believe someone would do that, and yet there they are. And when you look at even just the U.S. population of 330-ish million, give or take tens of millions of illegals. Within 330 million, there's clearly several thousand people who will go and sit on top of a giant vessel full of fuel that has a chance of blowing up. Now, granted, with
are those people qualified to be? Because you have to have both. You can't just have the crazy gene, but you have to have the crazy gene, and you have to be a master at calculus and shit, and a master at trigonometry.
Well, I mean, you and I both know.
The Air Force.
You and I both know the all that's programmed in. Those guys, there's a little bit of control there, but the vast majority of the trajectory of those rockets, that's all computerized well in advance.
Okay.
So it's not like somebody's holding a steering wheel and sitting there for 6 days flying to the moon. That it's all
sitting there though. Let's listen. Bathroom. Let me see. This bathroom.
Oh, that toilet they have, which is weird, but it's always weird. Shitting in space. It's hell of a concept.
But shit floats in space though. Yeah,
right. So they have to use a vacuum system.
This is astronauts. Is how do you go to the bathroom in space? So let's take a peek at the process.
Yeah, it's a
department is called the WHC, a NASA acronym for Waste and Hygiene Compartment. I think we just know it as WHC. It's inside this we call the stall, which is a couple of walls and a door that give you some privacy because you're right in the middle of node 3 with the treadmill on one side of the toilet, the weight machine we call ARED on the other side, and down in the floor our awesome window called the cupola. And this is a high traffic area. People are coming and going, so you need the privacy. First of all, the desire to go, the need to go is very similar as on Earth, where you just know you have to go. It doesn't feel any different because the fluid might be floating in your bladder or something. No, that's it. It's just the exact same sensation. You got to go. Either one, number 1 or number 2. So you've decided that. You float into the WHC. And we have the toilet, which consists of a seat and a metal bucket, what we call a keteo, which is a Russian acronym for something, container of something. And but it holds about, depending on how many people are here, it holds about maybe 30 deposits. And we'll talk about that in a second. The urine goes into this hose right here. And this valve is what activates the whole system. Okay, these are the 2 primary control panels for the WHC. When the system is ready for use, it's a V. This means it's going to the UPA. So we say, check that it's V to P. All right, now we're on the inside of the hygiene compartment. Close the door so that you have your privacy.
Are you watching this?
You take the phone.
Oh, I am.
This knob right here activates the whole system.
I watched this once before.
Very convenient.
The average person going to go to the bathroom, let's just say 3 times a day, pissing and shitting, right?
Sure.
You got 4 people, right? So that's 12 bathroom visits a day. You got 10 days. That's 120 bathroom visits a day.
Yep.
120, if you're lucky, right? Bathroom visits. This cannot,
Well, keep in mind they're not flushing like
just one valve operates it.
Yeah, right. They're not flushing, but they're pissing in the zero gravity. Look how he's allegedly floating, right? Even though I think that's fake, but you got to put your dick into that little cone, right?
Or close to it, because that small amount of suction of a vacuum will pull it in.
Okay, so you got the head of your dick somewhere near that shit, right?
Well, and that's for a man. For a woman, obviously, aiming's a little trickier, right?
Right. She got to stick it behind her and shit or under her, and she got to piss. And women, they be pissing like hard, right?
Right.
Like, and that shit come out they can't control the angle like we can. So
But they'll probably just go. They'll probably just go in the bowl, like when they're doing, the other business.
Yeah. Right.
And then of course it can all get pulled into, through a one-way valve into a storage, and without all the water that's used for traditional flushing, it's going to occupy a much smaller space volume. Now, how they did it in the 60s and 70s, who knows? Probably a pretty miserable diaper.
This looks miserable, Doug.
Forget how the system operates, or you're brand new here and you just want to double check. In good NASA fashion, we have a checklist. This is called Procedure 2.301, the WHC Nominal Operations Cue Card. It's got several blocks for operations. So there's two different ways where the pee can go. It can just go into a bucket, which is called a YEDAVE, and essentially you're just peeing until that bucket's filled up, and then you have to swap out the bucket. Or you can configure WHC to UPA, a urine processor assembly, and that way the urine is going directly into the system, and that's where we normally keep it. And it's most convenient for the crew members because you're not constantly changing out a tank. So there's a couple blocks to tell you how to make those changes, and some detailed steps if you need to know how exactly to do it. And in case things go wrong with the hardware, not yourself, there's a WHC malfunctions cue card, and we thought of all the different light combinations and the failure modes, but the bottom line is, if there's a red light, we talk to the ground, and together we figure out the path forward. Okay, back to normal operations. Time to go. You take the valve, and you turn it on. You hear the fan noise. Check for airflow. I'll show you that there is, in fact, airflow. So a little bit of airflow, and that helps everything flow in the right direction. We've got our simulator, and that's where your business goes. You're complete. You want to be a good crew member, so you make sure that you wipe off the excess. Use a disinfectant wipe occasionally or often, and then you simply turn the valve off. But I want to show you number 2 as well, so I'll leave it running and we'll roll right into that. Okay, when it is time to go, you flip this lever here, and that lifts up the lid. The seat here is about 5 or 6 inches in diameter.
Yikes.
And there's a plastic liner in there, where your deposit goes. What I have here is green beans and mushrooms, and I do not like mushrooms, so I don't mind contributing this piece of food in the name of education. So pretend I ate this yesterday, and now it goes into there. You clean yourself, and the wipes go into there as well. You take this red tab, you pull it off the rim, and depends on how full the container is. This one's about halfway through. We do have a stick, and you push it down in there.
All right, Doug, what's up now? What do you think?
I think it's an unpleasant existence, but again, people are willing to do lots of unpleasantries for the, bragging rights, if nothing else. I definitely don't look at this and say, well, that just proves. I think this is the space station, right?
I think so.
So and it's what I don't know is, do they eject their containers of waste out into space?
You mean they pull a Dave Matthews Band in space?
Well, check this out. I learned this recently. So we've got Mount McKinley up here, right?
Uh-huh.
So Mount McKinley, one of the top, it's the highest from base to peak of any mountain on the planet. It starts at a lower elevation, so Everest is higher overall. Mm-hmm. But anyways, so there's thousands of people that climb this mountain every year. At all their base camps, once they get a certain elevation, they to simplify, they shit in bags in buckets, okay?
Mm-hmm.
They've been throwing literal tons of these bags of piss and shit into crevices in the glaciers at the base of this mountain for decades. Mm-hmm. These climbers that are paying tens of thousands of dollars for these climbing trips, and the government has been letting them just throw tonnage of waste just right out into crevices that mm-hmm. turn up in rivers downstream. Mm-hmm. So there's always this factor of you've got to deal with waste. Now in Yosemite, when I hike in Yosemite with a buddy of mine down there in Reno, mm-hmm. if we go to the bathroom, we have to dig a hole, and all that can go into it is natural waste. If we use toilet paper, we are expected to hike out with that used toilet paper. And that's pretty gross. And mm-hmm. we do it to follow the rules, but
right. Everybody doesn't do it.
But I'm sure everybody doesn't do it. But mm-hmm. So when I look at this, I go, that definitely looks fancier than shitting in a hole. Right?
Yeah, but you're hurtling around. You're not at 0 G where you're just floating and shit. When you're doing what you're doing in Yellowstone and shit, you're not
right.
floating. You're
right. And that's fair. But keep in mind, when you are relieving yourself, liquids and solids are leaving your body with a little bit of force. So you know what I'm saying? So you're helping that. You're guiding to some degree. Anyways,
it just seems like it's just not feasible, and it seems like if this is if this is the way they're going to use the bathroom,
right? But again, that to me, this is
a woman there too, and it's like
yeah. I mean, think about what people did in tiny submarines in World War II. Now, granted, modern submarines are pretty fancy, and they'll go out to sea for 10 months, crazy missions. But those tiny little, super tiny subs of World War II, those mm-hmm. guys barely had room to turn around. I have no idea how they went to the bathroom in there, but it doesn't discount the fact that they did it.
Right. No, I got you. I mean, I could see this working for a day or two. You got 4 people in that little confined space. And especially on the alleged space station, it's like a space station. This is just a pod they're in. Like they're in a tent. Though they say it's like a 6-man tent. That's how big the pod they're in is. It? It's a 6-man tent.
You're talking about the Artemis.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the space station where this guy's at is like big, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of
with all its other friends, and then it's time to put a new bag on. To put a new bag on, you pull that. It's like a hair scrunchie, and get it all So it has max capacity there and ready to go. Close it up. Close the lid. Now you've gone number one. Number two, you cleaned yourself up, and it's time to turn the system off. You just take this valve, rotate it to off. The fan spins down. The system checks itself. All the lights go out, and you're done. So congratulations, you've just used the WHC for the first time and you've learned about the process. Hope it's educational, but I don't think it's going to lessen the amount of times I have to answer that question. Thanks for watching.
I'm just like, man, while hurtling through space, like hurtling.
Again, you're talking two different environments.
Hi there. I've had a lot of people ask me how I wash my hair in space.
Literally a few miles above the Earth versus a spaceship, launching out, 180 some thousand miles to the moon?
Here's her washing hair. So this is what the other guy was talking about. This is washing hair in space.
What I like to do is start by just putting some hot water, squirting it onto my scalp. And I have a mirror here so I can kind of watch what I'm doing. Sometimes the water gets away from you and you try and catch as much as you can.
And all these gadgets on the fucking, every wire is open. Everything is, all the buttons are there, and she's just squirting water all over the place. Where will that water land? What will that water short circuit? What will it just, I don't know.
And I just work the water up through to the ends of my hair.
But you didn't get any water in there.
And I take my no-rinse shampoo and squirt it also on the scalp, just a little bit, and rub it in. Again, kind of working it out to the ends. And sometimes I'll actually take my comb to help work it all the way to the ends.
I think any wires you see are either tie wires or low voltage wires. I'm sure there's no high voltage wires anywhere exposed.
Okay,
there's no way.
Still, like something, it's just things can go wrong. Like water droplets can, cause chain reaction, chain effects. Like one thing goes down, then it affects this thing. But anyway, she's hurtling through the space at 17,000 miles per hour? I think that's the
roughly, the space station.
Yeah, space stations. I think they're going 17,000 miles per hour. Does it feel like she's going 17,000 miles per hour?
Yeah, but the same thing when you're in an airplane going 500 miles an hour, you get up to walk up to the head. You don't feel like you're going 500 miles an hour.
You kind of do when you're on a plane. You're not like pinned to your seat, but you can feel you're going fucking fast.
Well, you feel vibration. You're moving, just like you feel you're moving in a car.
Yeah,
but
like,
you're moving.
The sound a plane gives off, you hear it in the background. Anytime you're filming on a plane, you see somebody filming on a plane, you hear that zzz, that hum.
Well, you've got giant engines propelling you out in this space station. They're literally floating
at 17,000 miles per hour.
Yes.
Good. Wow, it's a lot, man.
So
you gotta admit it's a lot, though, right?
Oh, I have absolutely. But like I said too, imagine what people in Africa and South America thought when they first heard about people flying in planes and in control of an object that's carrying them through the air. The first thing is they're going to do is deny it is even possible because they can't fathom it.
Yeah, I got you, no doubt. But a lot of times those instincts are right, though, right, Doug? Think about it. Your instincts tell you they guide you.
I don't know. I don't know how to quantify that. Just same as
you don't have to qualify it, but like just like how sometimes when you walking down the street and you like, oh man, let me make a left here. Like you just
imagine again South America or Africa, going to somebody in a small village and say, hey, where I come from, we have buildings that are 100 stories high. And they can't wrap their head around it because it's foreign to them. They've never been presented as being a reality. So you're trying to explain a reality that is completely foreign to them, and therefore it's easy to deny. Because I can't picture it. It doesn't make sense. I mean, and in all practical purposes, to me, I think I'm a little educated. I look at a 100-story building and I go, that doesn't make sense. And yet there it is.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, Doug. I mean, this stuff is plausible. Like, it is possible that this bitch is on a fucking spaceship going fucking 17,000 miles per hour. And she's washing her fucking hair and shit. Like, why do you even need to wash your hair? But I think this is just part of the display, part of the sleight of hand. You get people working, you get people looking over here, and then you hide the little, little styrofoam ball, in your other hand while you pretended you put it under the cup or whatever magic trick is, right?
Well, and part of your argument, we both agree nothing wastes more money than the U.S. government. So it's absolutely plausible that they would fake some shit and waste money. But and like I said, I need a lot more physical evidence of proof that we were on the moon in 1969. I find that really hard to believe. But again, with modern technology, it seems way more likely that is inevitable.
You know what? You make good points, but are you willing to give any credence to anything I said? Can you give me a point that I made that you think you could possibly see as something that would debunk all this bullshit or expose it as bullshit?
Well, I mean, which point specifically?
I'm asking you. Did you see anything? You think that do you think that like is laughable that like I could think that, or you think that like, well, I mean, this might be true, or that like, how like you just think that like it's no, you are 100% sure they're going to space. They're going around Earth twice, right?
This particular rocket?
Yeah. Yes,
I firmly believe it. And in fact, I believe we have sent rockets to the moon. And I think in even as far back as 1969, I think it's possible we sent humans to the moon. It's hard for me to believe we actually landed, had enough fuel to get back up to the first ship and get back to Earth. The logistics don't pan well for me.
So here's the flight path.
Artemis 2 is NASA's mission to the moon, launching an early manned rocket launch in history. 2 minutes into launch, we're going to jettison the solid rocket boosters and be left just with the core stage powering it into low Earth orbit. And this is when the launch abort system will be jettisoned as well. 8 minutes in, the core stage is out of fuel, and so it's going to separate and fall back to Earth, while the second stage, the ICPS, ignites and gives the final push to get the crew into space. After 2 burns, the ICPS is going to have Orion in an elliptical high Earth orbit. And so now Orion is going to be 46,000 miles away from Earth on the far side, and the close side of its orbit is going to be 115 miles from Earth. And this orbit will take about 1 day to complete. During this first day, Orion's going to separate from the ICPS and begin to do a docking practice maneuver. In the coming years, Orion will dock with the Lunar Lander and the Gateway Station. So we need to know, how well does the autopilot work? Do the thrusters work the way we expect them to? If you remember the two astronauts who were stuck in space for a while, Butch and Sunny, last year, they were testing out a new spacecraft called Starliner. And the whole reason that NASA kept them on the space station for months instead of weeks was because of bad thrusters. We need to make sure Orion does not have similar issues. Once Orion passes back by the Earth, it's going to reignite its engine for the translunar injection, or TLI. This is the final push to get our astronauts to the moon for a free return trajectory. What is a free return trajectory, you may ask? It means the gravity of the moon and the Earth will naturally bring Artemis 2 back home. No additional burns required. This is a great idea for a test spacecraft like Orion. If anything goes wrong with Artemis 2, it'll just naturally come back to Earth using gravity alone. This is actually the same flight path that ended up saving the Apollo 13 astronauts after their disaster on the way to the moon. For Artemis 2, the journey to the moon is going to take 4 days. During that time, the crew is going to be running emergency procedures, including what to do in case of a major radiation event. See, if humans are going to do these long missions that we're talking about, like going to the moon or maybe one day going to Mars, we have to figure out how to deal with deep space radiation. Orion has a shelter on board, and the astronauts are going to test and see how effective it is in actual use. All right, so as I mentioned before, Artemis 2 is not a lunar landing. The astronauts are not going to be walking on the moon for this mission. This is a lunar flyby mission. If you're at all familiar with the Apollo 8 mission from the 1960s, that's the Christmas Apollo flight, this mission is really similar. Their flight is going to take them 230,000 miles away from the Earth to the far side of the moon. As you may already know, there's a side of the moon that always faces the Earth, and then there's a far side of the moon that we will never see from standing on the Earth's surface. And that's the destination for our Artemis 2 astronauts. This is a simulation of what that flyby mission for Artemis 2 is going to look like. This is actually what the astronauts will see. The closest the astronauts will get to the lunar surface is about 4,600 miles. After the flyby, Orion will do any necessary little corrections that it needs to land precisely at the right place and the right time back on Earth. After another 4 days, Integrity will separate from the ESM and re-enter the atmosphere for splashdown. They will splash down in the Pacific Ocean, be picked up by the United States Navy, and complete their 10-day mission. All right, so let's talk about the crew. There are 4 astronauts on board Artemis 2: Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Cook, and Jeremy Hansen. As you might guess, these 4 people are exceptional, some of the best, the exact people you would pick on an Artemis 2 mission. I'm going to highlight just a couple of things that stood out to me about each one of their bios, but seriously, you need to go read them. I've linked them all in the description of this video. These are incredible people who have done amazing things in their lifetimes. Reed Wiseman will serve as the commander for Artemis 2. He is a 27-year Navy veteran, a pilot, a father, an engineer, and a Baltimore native. Wiseman has been an astronaut since 2009, and he's logged 167 days in space. Victor Glover will be the pilot for Artemis 2. He's a test pilot, a legislative fellow with the United States Senate, a father, and an engineer from California. He served in Operation Iraqi Freedom and has flown 40 aircraft across 24 different combat missions. And Glover has been an astronaut since 2013. Christina Cook is a mission specialist on Artemis 2. She's an electrical engineer, an Antarctic explorer, a firefighter, and has worked on major scientific programs for both NASA and NOAA. She grew up on a family farm in Michigan and attended North Carolina State University. She's been an astronaut since 2013 and holds the record as the woman with the longest single spaceflight, almost a full year. And finally, we have Jeremy Hansen. Hansen is a Canadian astronaut, and he will be a mission specialist for Artemis 2. He's a pilot, a physicist, a colonel with the Canadian military, an aquanaut, and a father. He first got his wings when he was just 16 years old and became a firefighter pilot for the Royal Canadian Air Force. He became a CSA astronaut in 2009, and in 2017, he became the first Canadian astronaut to lead a NASA astronaut class. And get this, Artemis 2 is going to be Hansen's first spaceflight. You can't really beat a trip to the moon as your first flight in space. So that's the crew. 4 incredible astronauts who are going to be able to test out everything for future missions and be our first return to the moon in over 5 decades. So the big question, when is Artemis 2 happening? Very soon. The first launch window for Artemis 2 opens on February 5th, 2026. Now, it took Artemis 1 a couple of launch attempts before NASA got everything working properly. But the result of that attention to detail and that patience was a very successful flight. And this time, Artemis 2 has actual humans on board. So don't be surprised if there are a couple of scrubbed launch attempts over the next couple months. Me and my family are hoping to be there for launch, hopefully with some of you guys. And if you are as excited for the Artemis 2 launch as I am, be sure to check out all of the Artemis 2 shirts and merch that I have put out on my Digital Astronaut.
You know what, Doug?
What's that?
I'm still not convinced.
That's all right.
All of this stuff makes me dig in my heels even more. Like,
well, that's why I brought up the flat Earth map for you, just to use that as a starting point. Because honestly, when I first heard the argument about flat Earth, I don't know how many years ago, my first thought was, okay, well, that's wrong. But then I thought, okay, let's look into why people think the Earth is flat. And I listened to arguments, and I thought, well, this argument and that argument, that's a reasonable argument if you don't have other information. But I basically debunked it myself doing that same method of, okay, traveling from point A to point B, how long does it take? And in fact, there was a pilot, I might have talked to you about him before, where he said, hey, you pay for the ticket, I will fly all you flat earthers from one place to another, and you'll see how quickly we get there, and you can see the curvature of the Earth from a certain elevation. And I don't know if people ever took him up on it.
We'll have to. I just think that because they've had this lie going on so long.
Which lie?
This NASA. That they've been to space since 1969. And they're not telling you a lie. Now they're telling you they can't go back, but I think they're lying, saying they're about to go near the moon, right? The medium you're traveling in is no comparison. Like, they're traveling in orbit, right? And they're going straight to the moon. The moon is right here. We got to go straight there.
Well, if you look at the trajectory, though, it's weird because they're flying to a place that the moon's not at yet. You know what I'm saying? They're basically meeting at a point in the future. They're aiming towards a place where there's no moon, because the moon in its orbit around the Earth will get there. And its orbit around the Earth is also the Earth orbiting around the sun. It's a little complicated. But still, acknowledging how little we had for, there was no computer technology for the most part in World War II, and yet we had submarines functional. And then you fast forward to, jet airliners traveling around the planet in the 60s, 50s and 60s and so on. And, what we have at our disposal for computing and calculating to get a highly advanced vehicle to the moon. Yeah. As a kid, whatever, 200,000 miles plus or minus to the moon seemed like an impossible distance. But now when you look at aircraft that, we've got unmanned aircraft that travel at Mach 9. And I think the SR-71 travels a little over Mach 3. It's a few thousand miles an hour with the resistance of Earth's atmosphere. But once you get out of the atmosphere where there's no resistance, you can, and they can't go too terribly fast. Otherwise, they can't slow down to get into orbit around the moon. That's why it takes so long to get, they could get there faster theoretically, but then it would take that much more fuel to slow down to lock into that orbit.
Yeah, but are we experts in orbit? Like, have we taken thousands and thousands? Like, space seems unpredictable to me, man. Like,
I think the behavior of the sun can be unpredictable. I'm 100% on board with you on that. But as far as what the Earth and the moon do, there have been tens of thousands of studies. So I think they have a pretty good idea of those behaviors.
Yeah. I just it just seems like if we were really doing that, right, going to space, it would be such a big deal.
What do you mean?
Like it'd be such a big deal. And it would be,
Do you mean a big deal for the four on the rocket, or a big deal for
for the
us
country. For
us
the country.
normies? Well, I think here's the thing, Ak. I think the idea is great. I think the timing's shitty. And some people can say, it may be a distraction. I'm not saying it's not, but I think we've got so much crap we're dealing with that's real to us, real to you, real to me, real to the rest of Ak Nation, and we're dealing with what the fuck's going on in Iran right now. Why are we there? Or why hasn't the Ukraine Russia situation been resolved? And stupid shit like that. And then why are we still dealing with rampant crime and the stuff we normally talk about here on your channel?
Yeah,
And
but they can bury any story and they can elevate any story. We're talking about the mainstream.
absolutely.
I'm not talking about like social media. I'm talking the mainstream media. This should be like the exposés like they should have on these astronauts. You know what I mean? They never talk about anything bad. Every astronaut, everything's 100% great.
Well, keep this in mind, though, Ak. I didn't realize this, but NASA is highly left-oriented. NASA is a major push of the global warming conspiracy. And it's like, yeah, the Earth, it's going through phases. That's my opinion.
This is for the skeptics.
But NASA is pushing hard that it's human-caused heating of the planet that's at a critical rate. And
Look
so
at
I'm
them.
not a fan of NASA over that.
Does this look normal?
No, it looks like propaganda.
They're allegedly floating. Now, people say they have harnesses. They have harnesses. People say they have harnesses to make it look like they float, like because they're always sitting there, like in this position whenever they're on camera. This is when they're like talking to Earth and shit, right? It's just they said it's really harnesses. They say you can't like there is no zero G. There is no orbit. There's people who think there is no orbit. I'm one of them. I don't believe that there's orbit. I don't believe you go up and then you just start floating. I believe up is always we're in a vacuum. How could you have orbit inside of a vacuum? The universe is a vacuum. But anyway,
outside of a craft, it is a vacuum, yes. But within the craft, it's pressurized.
But once you get inside of the moons, the close to the moon, it's not orbit anymore. Once you get close to the planets, it's not orbit.
Well, no.
Orbit is orbit.
Orbit is created by the gravity. So what's going on with the space station? It's outside of it's where the gravitational pull is so slight that you get that floating effect.
But that's really centered around us, like as like the main character. Orbit really is like a main character philosophy. I think it's like, yeah, our planet has all this gravitational pull, and once you get away from our planet, everything floats. But what about the other planets? What about, you know what I mean? Like, how come everything floats everywhere except for on this one planet?
Well, hold on. I mean, there are assignable variables. Like, think about this.
They're on the moon, Doug. They're floating. They're like bobbing around. They can't stay on the ground and shit.
Where?
The Neil Armstrong and all those motherfuckers when they walked on the moon.
No, they claim the gravity is on the moon was around 1/10 of what it is on Earth. Something like that. I can't remember the exact calculation. So there was some gravity, just not nearly as much as on Earth.
Yeah, man.
But think about this, Ak. What do we grew up thinking the top of the Earth was the North Pole, right?
Mm-hmm.
who's to say the top of the Earth isn't the South Pole? You know, that was all assigned.
Right.
You know, by people who thought they were smarter than us, and they probably were.
But north is north and south is south, though. Like those are.
But what dictated that was north? And what dictated that north was the top?
I mean, words mean something. So
yes,
so north is just the word for that way.
Yeah.
It's like left and right, like your left hand and your right hand. Like it's some tribe out in the jungle. They don't know left and right. They just know that one and that one. But it's still left and right.
Yeah.
Whether you have a word for it, whether you understand it, left is left and right is right.
Yeah.
So like this right here, what they're doing right here, like for them to be doing it, it really would have to be like, this is just, look at this shit, man. Just look at this shit. Does this seem feasible to just go, just to be up there and just doing, they're not doing anything. They're just up there.
This is called downtime. But I'll tell you, if you want to hear my kind of arguments about skepticism of space, think about this. You've got this craft traveling at 17,000 miles an hour, roughly, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's going a particular direction, circling the planet. Now, there are hundreds of other objects circling the planet, and maybe more. What happens when two objects moving at 17,000 miles an hour run into each other? And the thing is, there's no way they can tell me that everything is going in the exact same direction and the exact same orbit. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And furthermore, what if little particles, what if a couple things bumped into each other? And I think that's been acknowledged to have happened. Now you've got little broken bits of metal, and they're going to be going at different angles and different rotations. That part kind of brings me pause.
Yeah, man. We're gonna follow this. They're up there for 10 days, so we're gonna stay on top of this, man. It's a great show, man. Thank you for coming up, Doug, man.
Thanks for having me.
You represented the other side very well, even though you haven't moved me. But theoretically, I could see, you know what I mean, how you could move somebody with less conviction about this. This shit is horse shit. This is horse shit.
I did not expect to move you on space at all, but I do want you to keep looking at that flat Earth map and play around with it, like I said, with air travel times.
All right, man. Salute, man.
That's all I ask.
I got to get some rest, man.
Yeah.
Thank you for all you guys. Same Vlad time, same Vlad channel. I'm out of here. Subscribe.
RIP DVK.